Hey y'all, good morning. It is early, but it's time to get your butts out of bed because we're going catfishing today right after we get some bait. This is another one of those trips where I've come to the water with absolutely nothing to bait a hook with. So I'm in this creek right now, which you can barely see because we're right here at first light, it's foggy. But I'm gonna throw the cast net here on these shad. I'm seeing a few flipping, and we're going to try to get us either some gizzard shad or some large thread fins, and then I'm going to pack up, leave here, and go hit a different launch site to do some catfishing. So anyway, I'm going to put y'all here in the chest as I make my way down through here and throw this net. This is one of those things about catfishing that you don't often see in catfish videos, but it's the part where you go out and catch bait. Most of these catfish videos you see on YouTube, the trip starts and the person already has bait. But one of the biggest factors in going catfishing is having something to bait a hook with. And how do you do that? Well, one of the ways that we do it is by throwing a cast net for shad and other rough fish species, things like if you get carp or drum or buffalo or things like that, suckers, you can keep those in a cast net as well. Some states, the laws will vary. Check your own states to see what's legal and what's not in your area. But here where I'm at in Tennessee, we can keep pretty much anything except game fish. So I'm just gonna make some throws. I'm not seeing a lot of activity back here, but I am seeing some occasional flips. So we're just gonna make some throws as I make my way back through this creek. This is a shallow creek. You're probably looking at maybe 3 foot max here where we're gonna be throwing. And we got one in there, 2 in there. We're gonna need to do better than that though. Yeah, that's either smaller gizzard or larger thread fin. I don't know, it don't matter to me. We just need bigger and more of them. So I'm gonna make my way on back. I'm in my pedal kayak today, or one of my pedal kayaks. This is my Old Town Big Water. So we're gonna make a throw, pedal back a little further, look for some more flips, more activity. Usually when I come into these creeks and I'm looking for shad, I want to see activity. You know, I want to see either shad flipping along the surface. I want to see birds swooping down or herons lined up on the shoreline. Right up here in front of us is some flipping. But when I throw in these creeks, you're doing the shallow water, you make a throw. Any shad you don't get, scatter from the sound of the net hitting the water, right? So I like to throw, move a little bit, and then throw again. And right up here in front of us, there was some activity, so let's make a throw right here. Now, if you want to know how to throw a net, I got a video on my channel. It's an old video, just search Kayak Catfish cast net. You'll find it. Nothing's changed since I made that video, even though it's really old. My technique, it's the same. That technique right there didn't do me a bit of good. We made a good throw, but we didn't get no shad in there. Let's keep making our way on back. Sometimes this is the reality of catfishing, folks. This is what you don't see on them edited down highlight videos. You don't see that sometimes catching bait is more difficult than catching catfish. Sometimes you come in these creeks, you make one throw, and you get a net full and you're ready to roll for the day. Other times you got to make several throws. You get a shad here, a shad there. At some point in here, we're going to find a good concentration of them. It's coming, but I'm going to bring you with me for it here because I want this video to be kind of a representation of what a real trip is like. So let's just make another throw right in here. I'm not seeing nothing, but we know there's some in here. I've seen enough flips to know there's stuff in here. It's just a matter of figuring out exactly where they're at in this creek. There's another one. We don't need a lot of bait today because I'm just looking to get enough bait for today, not multiple trips. But I want to have enough that if we get on a good school of cats or have us a good day of catfishing, that we've got enough bait that we don't have to be real conservative with it. Just gonna make my way back a little further. I see off in the distance here, y'all probably can't see it, but there's a heron sitting back here. And like I said, Mother Nature will tell you where the fish are at. That heron, he ain't back there just to hang out. He's back there, he's hunting. He's trying to find him breakfast this morning. Them herons, buddy, they're the professional fishermen. They catch fish for a living. Let's make another throw right here. See what happens as we make our way back to where that heron is. I think I got some then. I seen one come to the top of that net. Best I can see anyway. Yeah, there's some. There's a little bigger one right there too. Make sure we don't lose him out the side there. Okay, that's a little bigger gizzard right there. Just, we only got 2 in the net though. But that's a good sign. As we make our way back a little further, we're getting a better quality one there. Let's go back here a little bit more toward this old heron over here. We'll make another throw. Funny, he's back there, but I ain't seeing much flipping back here where he's at. He knows more than I do about it, so we'll keep going toward him. Let's throw right over here. This is a 6-foot cast net, 3/8 inch mesh, 1 pound of lead per, 1 pound per foot, if I get my words out. Yeah, here's some more. Yeah, we ain't loading the net, but just about every throw we're getting something. We may just have to make a bunch of throws today, folks. That may be how it goes today. Whatever it takes. There goes the heron. Y'all done scared him off. He didn't want to be on camera this morning. He said we ain't paying him enough. That heron over there, buddy, he's bougie. He said if he ain't getting paid, he ain't doing this. He's got other opportunities today. He's a working bird. All right. I'm just gonna let the kayak glide a second, and I'm gonna throw here where that last one flipped. We're in the fall now. We're starting to get some leaves on the water. I'm trying to throw around the leaves so we don't get all that in our net. Get a bunch of leaves in there, it can slow the fall of your net. another 1 foot, but that's a good one though. That's another. Oh no, I dropped him out. I just dropped him out the side. I was gonna say we only got 1 that time, but it was about as big as our biggest shad there. All right, back here, that wood pile right there, that's where that heron was sitting. Let's just see if we can coast up to it here, and we'll make another throw. I'll tell you, them herons, buddy, they'll usually tell you where some bait's at. I am always looking for them things. Them and ospreys too. You'll see them diving down into the water around here oftentimes. They're a good indicator of where some shad's at too, because they're actively feeding on them when you see them. We ain't getting nothing that time. Let me slide over here to the right a little bit. Hold on, You got your net there on the pedals. Yeah, let's move over. I see seen some flipping right over here to the right. Let's go over here. Have I flung water all over the lens? I have, right there. Y'all gotta holler at me. We'll get the squeegee on the lens here. And I get water on this thing. I'm just happy I'm not flinging it out my life jackets or making these throws. Good news, if you're seeing this video, I didn't lose the camera overboard throwing the net. I'm always fearful of it. I don't care how good a day of fishing you've had, you lose an expensive camera overboard, it's going to ruin a trip. Good news is I feel like I'm throwing the net pretty good today. If we can just throw it on top of something. Yeah, we got some in there. Some smaller ones. Let's take a look. Let me take a camera. That's where we're at with it right now, folks. We got a ways to go. I'm gonna move back here just a little bit further, and if we don't get on something better, we're gonna start making our way out of this creek and throwing deeper. Most of the gizzards that I get throughout the year, all 4 seasons, they're 1 to 3 feet deep. I mean, I'm getting them shallow. They go deeper, but my best chance of success using a smaller net is going to be in the shallows. These nets, when you throw it out there at pancakes, it's fully open. As it sinks down, the lead's going down, it's pulling the net down, which creates some resistance on the water. And so what happens is the deeper you're letting it sink, the more it kind of contracts in diameter size. And depending on how fast it's sinking, them shad that you get, oh, we got some then, I see them. But they can also get out from under that net too. Let's pull it tight here, we got some in there. All right. Oh, we got a yellow bass too, he's got to go. We can't keep him. Well, still not impressed with what I'm seeing here, folks. I do see some more flipping right over here to my left, so we're just gonna circle around. We'll make a throw right there, and then we're gonna start making our way out to a little bit deeper. I'm surprised my pedal drive's not dragging bottom right here anyway, honestly. I would have thought it would be by now, because we're very shallow back here. I mean, very shallow. You see right there in front of us is something flipping. But we're really one good throw away from having enough bait for a day. It's all it takes when you're throwing a net, man. You just need that one good throw and load up. Sometimes it happens right away, and well, sometimes it don't. But that's reality, man, and I want today's video to be reality. I want you to see what it's like fishing today. Yeah, we got some in there. Okay, yeah, I got a few in there. Not super big, but big enough. I can't tell. My shad identification's not great, and honestly I don't care, but they're either smaller gizzards or larger thread fins right there. Either way, they're 4 or 5 inch range. Again, it matters not. It's a shad to me. It's something to bait a hook with. What do I care what type they are? The catfish don't care. They don't care one bit. Yeah, let's start making our way out here. We'll start throwing a little deeper. Just keep your eyes peeled best you can out here. All right, here's something going on right here to our right. Let's just make another throw right in here. As far as throwing this net, there's a lot of different techniques. You know, there's a bunch of ways to do it. You got to figure out which way works best for you. Like I said, I've got that video showing how I do it, and that works for me. There's another one. But I'll tell you this, and this is something to consider too. When you're learning how to throw, one, don't practice on the water. Practice out in your driveway before you go to the water. That's going to save you a lot of frustration. Much easier to do it in your driveway than it is a kayak. Learn to crawl before you learn to walk, as the saying goes. But when you're practicing the various techniques, try to figure out which one works best for you. Try both hands. And the reason I say that is because I'm left-handed, but I throw a cast net better throwing it right-handed. So, you know, definitely try your non-dominant hand and see. I can throw, I've practiced enough. I can throw with either arm, because sometimes, here's what happens. Sometimes you'll be throwing and it'll be a windy day, and you the way the wind's blowing or direction you're going, like you're forced to throw off one side of the kayak or the other. And when you're in a kayak, you're pretty much standing. You know, you're standing right in front of your seat. So if I want to throw off to the left, I'm going to throw right-handed. If I need to throw off to the right, I'm going to throw left-handed. Now, a day like today, everything's calm out here. It's flat calm. I could throw with whatever hand I want and be fine, but it's good to know. It's good to know how to do both, just for them situations. Now, if you're in a boat and you got a big front deck that you can stand on while you throw, not a big deal. Learn with one hand. But in a kayak, you may need to know how to throw with both. Yeah, here's another throw. We've got 2 or 3 shad, 3 of them. It's a nickel and dime kind of day, folks. We're just grinding it out here. We'll make enough throws, however many it takes, to get what we need. Where we at on, yeah, where we at? Damn near 20 minutes now. The bad thing about taking too long when you first get to the water, if you show up, you know, normally I like to show up ready to catfish with bait. Today's situation, I don't have anything, so we need bait before we go. And so, for example, today, the longer it takes to get bait, the longer we're going to be delayed getting out there to catch some catfish. Like I said, I'm stopping here at this creek because I've been getting some shad easily in here lately. And so I wanted to come here, and then we're going to roll out. There's a couple more. We're going to roll out and go hit a different launch to access a different portion of the river to try to catch some catfish today. You know, if we were in a boat with an outboard, we'd just launch somewhere and motor wherever we needed to. But in a kayak, range is obviously limited. So you just make the most of what you got as far as access. So I'll put in here, make a quick run to this creek, net some shad. Take out, I'm gonna drive, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes down the road and access another portion of the river. And that next access will put me like a very short run away from the main river channel. So right up here, I was seeing some stuff. We're just working out a little deeper here. I usually like to start shallow and then work my way out, because as I mentioned, most of the gizzards I catch 1 to 3 feet throughout the year. And this area in here, I mean, it's shallow, probably 3 foot or so, but not as shallow as where we were at further on back a second ago. What you really like seeing when you throw the net is, again, we've got, that's a bigger one in there. We only got one big one and some little tiny thread fins. At least it is a good quality one. What you like seeing is when that net hits bottom, you want to see shad swimming up to the top of the net trying to get away. That's what you want to see. Just slide down a little more and make another throw. It can be tedious, folks, especially if you're throwing a heavy net. It can be a little bit tiresome. But if you have shad in your particular body of water, river, lake, reservoir, whatever you're fishing, if you do, then throwing a net, it's kind of a necessary thing if you're going to be a catfisherman. You need to learn how to do it, and I find it more effective in the winter, but there ain't never a bad time to throw a net, as we got 3 or 4 more in there. There's never a bad time to use shad. They'll get eaten year round, but I do find them to be a lot more effective bait in the winter months, although I've been catching a bunch of fish on them lately. I've done better on the shad lately than I have skipjack. And shad are much easier to get than skipjack. Oh, I stepped on that one. We got him. We made some mashed potatoes out of him, didn't we? Let's see what we get on this throw. Something's in there. I see him come to the top. Problem is, I only seen one come to the top. Is there more in there? Yeah, there's a few more in there. Man, I'm telling you, we're getting 2, 3, 4 shad every throw. And from an economical standpoint, all of these shad in the floor of the kayak, there's a bait shop in my area that sells live shad sometimes. They're very unreliable. You don't dare go in there being desperate for shad, because they're probably going to be out. But they have the equipment and the tanks to keep shad alive when they go get them. But depending on the size of the shad, they're going to want $2 or $3 a piece for them. And boy, it don't take long to spend a fortune when you're paying $2 or $3 a piece for a 4 or 5 inch shad. So you look at the cost of the net. This one here's a cheap Walmart one's like 40 bucks, but it pays for itself very quickly. Now you're going to go through some nets, you're going to throw over some stumps and logs, and you're going to lose them, tear them and stuff. There's not a situation where you buy one net and it lasts forever, unfortunately. There's some more. We're getting more here as we make our way out. I think maybe we just started a little too shallow today. There we go. Oh, another one in there. Get out of there, shad. But yeah, if you can learn to throw a net, it's going to save you money in the long run. And the better quality nets, they're more expensive, but they throw better, they last longer, they don't tear as easy. You get what you pay for with a cast net. I've had some bad luck with them. I get the good ones, spend $100, $150, and it seems like I'm gonna just throw it over a dang stump first trip out and tear it up, and I'm sick of throwing away $100 bills, so I was like, I'm gonna stick with the cheap ones for a little while, because I can buy 3 to 4 of these for the price of one of them good ones, and no more than I throw a cast net throughout the year. And usually when I do throw it, I'm trying to find places like this, there's clearly a lot of shad in here. It's just a matter of getting on them. I can usually make do with a cheaper net. See how like that's all tangled up around the lines and stuff? Like that don't happen as often with your better quality nets as it does these cheapos. We're getting there, folks. We're getting there. This is taking longer than I wanted. But again, this is a real fishing trip I'm bringing you on today. So, I mean, this is reality, folks. This is, this is real world. It might take 5 minutes. It might take half hour. Sometimes, man, there's been days I've went out trying to catch skipjack, and you spend all day and don't get any. So it don't always work out, but we're gonna definitely have enough bait to go catfishing here. It's just taking way longer than I had hoped to today. I hope to come in here and be gone in 5 minutes is what I had hoped for. Every throw down through here though, we're getting some. It's just 2 or 3 at a time. And if you notice, when I'm pulling in the net, I'll show you this here on the next throw. But this will save you time. So I'm gonna throw. I'm gonna disregard that. Let's do that again. I made a lousy throw, terrible throw. I'm focused on what I'm telling you and not on what I need to be doing here. Let's try that again. We ain't always gonna make perfect throws every time, folks. Let's move a little further down and try it again. As that sun's getting higher, we can't see it through the fog, but these shad are definitely getting more active, it looks like, as we get a little bit more light out here. All right, let's try this again. See if we can make a better throw here. Much better throw. So, net's sinking down. As I start to pull this thing in, I'm reloading the net. I'm looping it here in my hand as I'm pulling up my slack. That way, when I get this thing in, I'm about ready to throw the net again. Okay, we've got several in here this time. Ooh, that's a little bigger one there. But that'll save you time, because now, well, let me get that big one. Oh, it fell down there in front of our pedals. Now, right here, I'm ready to throw the net again, just like that. Let me get that big old shad right there. Come out here, there you go. We gotta throw that bluegill. We gotta get him out of here. This one here went up in our pedal drive slot. We're getting there, folks, we're getting there. It ain't been pretty today. This is, I know, probably boring boring TV, phone, computer, however you're watching this, if you still are watching. Probably had a bunch of people click off. Ain't nobody wants to watch throwing a cast net and getting shad. But again, this is a real fishing trip I'm bringing you on today, and this is part of it, man. This ain't the fun, exciting rods going down, reeling in big fish. Like, this ain't that part of the show. In order to do that, or have a chance at doing that, you have to do this first. Okay, there's some bigger ones right there. Out here in a little bit deeper water. All right. Let's make a few more through. I think we've got enough at this point. But I'd still feel better if we had some more. And I'm seeing more flipping as we make our way out here. So let's throw it a couple more times before we hit the road. And then we're gonna go catfishing. We're gonna go do a little drifting today, folks. We're gonna use a heavy rod and a light tackle rod and go for a drift. All right, let's let that sink down and see what happens here. Ain't seeing nothing swimming in the net, but let's see what happens when we pull it in. We didn't get nothing on that throw. Not a daggone thing. All right. Well, I see him over there, and I hear him too. There's another heron over here in this little pocket. Again, they're the professionals out here. Let's run over here and mess up his breakfast, but let's make a throw over there where he's at. You won't be able to see. If you got water all over the lens again, do we need a squeegee? I think you're okay. He's sitting over here in this pocket. There's on a log or something. And it's like you're seeing shad all over this creek. Why is he here? Well, he's there because breakfast is there. He ain't gonna be happy with us. He's gonna squawk and flap his wings, and he's gonna let us hear about it. He's already turned his back to us. He knows we're coming. He knows we are. He better not spook him shad off either. Look at him. He's looking around. It's like, you really gonna do this? You really gonna ruin my day, you old danged old fisherman? There he goes. Yep, I am ruining your day, heron. We need some bait. Priorities, heron. He don't care about our priorities. He don't care one bit, man. He said this is bull butter. A bunch of leaves over here we're gonna get in the net. Glide just a little further, that way I can miss part of these leaves. Hopefully can anyway. All right, let's see what happens. See if that heron knows what he's doing or not. He does. There's some more in there. Not as many as I'd hoped, though. We got more leaves than shad, that's for sure. All right, folks, let's make one more throw. Now let's get the heck out of here. Let's go catch us some cats. Let me just look around here and see if we can see something flipping around out through here. Make us one more throw, and then I fear by the time I get where I'm going, most of this fog's gonna be burned off. I'd hope to be Right over here on our left, there's some. I had hoped to be, it'd been nice if I could have got bait and be damn near to where we're going to catfish at, but the shad have derailed those plans a little bit. We're going to make them pay for it though. We're going to go feed them to some catfish to let them know what we think about their playing hide and seek with us today. These shad, they like playing games like that. All right, last throw. Whether we get a bunch or we don't, last throw. A little bit deeper, I might go down there. No, nothing. Well, little tiny thread fins. Okay, let me set this up here for a second. What I'm gonna do, here's what I do with these shad. It don't matter so much today because we're about to use these shad. But what I like to do, I like to take them and put them in a bag. That way they don't set in water on the ice. I like for them to be ice down, but not setting in ice. Because then they get, it don't happen, I mean, today's not gonna be a problem, but like if you were keeping them for a day or two before you used them, you might get them a little bit mushy, a little bit soft if you do that. Especially if you plan on keeping them longer than about 2 days for sure, they're gonna be in bad shape if you don't take care of them. So I like to just put them in a, it's like a, I don't know, 1 gallon, 2 gallon bag. I don't know how big the bag this is. The big Ziploc bags. I just stick them in here. Then I take and pack this bag in ice usually. I've got some more here behind my pedal drive. Let me get that out there. Come here, Shad, we need you today. We worked hard for you. Worked real hard for you today, actually. Way harder than what I wanted to. Hell, my shoulder's tired. I can't get a hold of that other one. Grab that shad there for, there you go. Got another one here. My other scupper, there's probably some up under my seat I'll try to get to when I get out the kayak, but here we go, folks. I mean, it's not a lot, but there are some bigger ones in there, and it's enough for us to fish with today. So, mission accomplished. And once I get back to the launch, I will take that bag and put some ice over it there, like I said, and just you know, pack it in there, but not a big deal today because we're going to be using them here in about 20 minutes. So come with me, y'all. The next segment here on this video, we're going to be catfishing. All right, folks, so let's get the catfishing portion of our day started. I'm going to take one of these bigger shad here, and we're going to start with a head bait. I'm going to put it on a heavier tackle rod, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to take the rest of it here, and we're going to put it on a light tackle rod. We're going to do heavy and light today and put them side by side and see how they do. This is a kind of an experiment I ran a few trips ago. And boy, that day, man, the light tackle dominated the heavy tackle. It was a day of sunny skies and clear water, which we're going to have here again today when that fog burns off. So here's the bait to start with. Gizzard shad head, Carolina rig, 10/0 size hook. I've got my Signature Series Golly Whopper rod from Catfish Sumo, 40-pound line, Shimano Dakota reels. And I've come up to this ledge. We're going to take part of the river here today and just work a ledge. And my plan was to come down and work the edge. I don't know how well you can see that. Work this edge, but I was coming up the river here and I noticed all this bait about 30 feet deep and fish there under it. So we're going to start here and slowly work our way over toward the ledge, like where it starts to come up there, the break line. But we're gonna start here where some fish are at here first thing. I'm gonna hook this bait up here on the light tackle setup. This is gonna be a Carolina rig also, just a much smaller version. I've been playing with the light tackle lately, having a ton of fun doing it. And this setup here, just a smaller sinker, 2 ounce in size versus the 8 ounce on the other. Swivel, 15-pound line, a fluorocarbon on here, and then a number 1 sized shiner hook for that piece of gizzard shad body section. And we're gonna go for a drift. There's a little bit of current flow this morning, but we've also got the wind blowing downriver. And it's not blowing hard, but it's blowing the perfect direction to take us where we want to go. Take us to the promised land, if you will, as we go downriver here. But I wanna just, when I do these drift fishing trips, and I'm working ledges, I like to work the contours. And we're a good ways off over here, but I saw that bait. So I'm gonna just slowly, incrementally work us closer over here as we drift along and see what we run into today. I'm gonna fish till lunchtime today, which it took so long to get bait and to get out here. That's cut into our trip a little bit, but I'll probably do maybe 3 hours or so out here from the catfishing portion. So we'll just, oh, I've already got hit over here on the light tackle rod, just like that, man. Just like that. Boy, we're just a couple minutes in here of getting baits down, and we're already hooked up, man. Now here's what happened the other day when I put a heavy tackle rod and a light tackle rod side by side. Now I had different baits I was using. He's a tiny little fella. Little tiny old thing. Y'all handle my light work here for me. Get this fish undone. I done the manual labor today, throwing that net nonstop to get us bait. The least you can do is unhook this fish. Oh Lord, fish. Totally uncalled for. You know what, that bait's still in his mouth. If I get it back after he's acted like this, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just drop it back down. I would give it to you, fish, but now, after how you've acted, forget about it. I can't get the hook out to, there we go. Here, watch this. Watch this right here. I'm gonna hook that bait again. I'm gonna try to anyway, and bring it back out of his mouth. I can't get hold of it down there. He's hanging on tight with it. You done gone and done it, fish. I'm taking that back. It's one of our bigger shad anyway. It'd be nice to have that back. There. Heck with you, fish. Acting that way. Get on. Fish number 1, man. Very quickly into the trip. But let me tell you, in case you're new to the channel here or ain't been here in a minute, let me tell you what happened the other day when I done exactly what we're doing today, heavy rod versus light rod. Now, it wasn't apples to apples. I was using bigger bait. I had shad on the light tackle and skipjack on the heavy tackle. So, different type of bait and much larger bait on the heavy tackle rod. But it was a similar situation as to what we're gonna have here when this fog burns off. Bright, sunny skies, relatively clear water, and just, you gotta figure them fish are able to see our baits down there in that situation, right? Well, the light tackle rod, I don't know how many fish I ended up catching, but the heavy tackle rod got 1 fish. The light tackle rod got all the other fish and my biggest fish of the day. So, that was one of them things. Did that fish get water all over you? He got water all over my, I can't, okay, you're good. He got water all over my sunglasses. But, you know, it raises the question, Because I've always been a believer that catfish aren't line shy. And I believe that to be true because, hell, I've caught a bunch of them on big hooks, 80-pound leaders, heavy line. The trot liners, man, them are huge lines that they're putting out. They catch a bunch of fish. Jug liners, big lines, they catch a bunch of fish. So it's hard to imagine that catfish are line shy at all. But when you have a trip like we had the other day where the light line keeps outproducing the heavy line, you have to question things. You have to really sit and think, is everything I've known maybe not all been true? Like, and yes, they will hit heavier rigs, obviously. They've done it, caught a bunch doing it. But am I catching fish in spite of what I'm doing or because of what I'm doing? So today's another opportunity for us to put rods side by side, light tackle versus heavy tackle. But today I want to do it with the same bait. You know, these shad, caught a little while ago, both rods are going to have the same bait on. And it'll be a more accurate test today because maybe the other day they just didn't want skipjack. Or maybe they just wanted a smaller bait that day. And the shad I was using is obviously much smaller than the skipjack. So who knows? Who knows? But if you run that experiment on any one day, sample size is too small. But if you run it over multiple trips and you start seeing a pattern, then maybe we're gonna figure something out with this. So we'll see how it goes today. I am gonna keep like a head and a chunk, and we may rotate, like the next time we rebait or something, may put the chunk on the heavy rod and the head on the light rod. That way we alternate and give them both fair chance in case it's a situation where fish are kind of keyed in on one particular cut or something. But nevertheless, I want to do heavy tackle versus light tackle. Now, if the light tackle just starts dominating, like it did when I've done this experiment before, I do have another light tackle rod with me that we can put down. I mean, if we prove to ourselves that we've got a light tackle bite going on today, we'll make the most of it and put down the second light tackle rod. Definitely encouraging, though, to see all that activity on the screen. Even now, as I've worked us closer to the edge of this break line, I'm still seeing a lot of stuff down there. So gives me hope that we're in the right area to get bit. And of course, we got that bite pretty much instantly after dropping baits down. So not the size we want, man. I want to catch bigger than that, hopefully, today. But it don't take a big fish on the light tackle to be enjoyable. And if we hook into a whopper today, man, we're going to have us a good time. Catching big fish is always fun, but the lighter the tackle you do it on, the more fun it is, in my opinion. So I've been doing more light tackle fishing lately. And it's one of them things, man. If you're a fan of the channel, if you like watching these videos, you're going to be seeing more of it. Now, as we get on in further into fall and temperatures get cooler and stuff, today's a very nice day. I'm regretting wearing the boots. I wish I'd just sucked it up and been cold first thing and wore flip-flops. But as we get on into fall, and definitely when we get into winter, and I'm in my bigger kayak some more with the motor and stuff, we're going to be doing some trips like I done recently where I put down a couple light tackle rods off the front and then swing for the fences. Throw a big bait off the back. Huge, whatever I can get. Skipjack, white bass, crappie. Just put the whole daggone thing on, double hook rig, throw it off the back, swing for the fences, man. So we'll be doing some more of that too. It's just going to be kind of, one of them things where we work the light tackle into what we're already doing while still going. I mean, look, I'm happy to catch these small fish like the one we got there a few minutes ago. I'm happy to do it on the light tackle. I don't really care about catching fish that size on my heavy gear because they barely put a bend in the rod. But on the light tackle stuff, even a fish that size, it can bend the rod a little bit. So I'm happy to catch those. But every time I go out, I'm wanting to catch big fish. So don't just think, don't assume because you see me using the light tackle that I'm just going after small fish. I'm not. Like we're hoping to catch big fish, blues and flatheads both, every time I go out. Now, don't always happen. It don't always happen every trip that you get what you want. But if you just keep putting yourself in a position to succeed, and you do that often enough and log enough hours doing it, it's going to pay off for you in the end. And I've had some successful trips lately. I've had some not so good trips lately. It's just part of the game. But consistency, day in, day out, or trip in, trip out, whatever your situation. Not everybody can go all the time, but like even if you're somebody, man, you can fish one day a week. Well, that's 52 trips a year. You put your baits in a place where you've got an opportunity to catch fish 52 times a year. It ain't going to happen every day for you, but my gosh, 52 times is enough trips to make something happen. It'll pay off for you. But a lot of people, I think, they get a little hung up on trying a bunch of new stuff and running too many experiments. You know, like we're experimenting a little bit today with our tackle and our setup, but what we're not experimenting with is how we're approaching this ledge. You know, we're going to work this brake line down through here off the bottom edge of this ledge. We're 45 feet deep. I don't know if I mentioned that. And depth's going to be in the 40s down through here for the most part. It'll go up and down a little bit, but pretty consistent overall. But while we're experimenting with heavy gear versus light gear, big hooks, small hooks, heavy line, light line, etc., that's just tackle. Like, we're not changing our approach that we know is tried and true and proven. Like, we're not varying from that. And I think a lot of times where people, where they can kind of get off in the weeds a little bit is they start trying to reinvent the wheel, not necessarily on tackle and gear and stuff, but they start trying to reinvent the wheel on methods. And it's great if it works out, but you're severely reducing your batting average, if you will. And if you've only got a limited number of trips that you can fish in a given time period, you don't want to spend a lot of time doing that. Stick with what works, and then every once in a while work in one of your experiments or whatever. But if you do it too often, and because I mean you're going to have a high failure rate on those, and then it's going to affect your psyche a little bit. It's going to affect your confidence, and so it's just left rod. Something come up and smacked it, didn't he? He smacked that head. That's all he done with it, though. Sometimes I think these fish will come up and tail slap. I can't prove that to be true. But I've had a lot of times where rods like that, they get hit and the rod tip will just kind of boom like that. And I almost think they just come up like side by side with it and just smack it. Because you'll oftentimes, that'll happen, and then you'll have fish get tail hooked. And so I wonder if they don't do that. I don't know if it's a way for them like to investigate the bait, if it's a way for them to maybe stun it so they can eat it better. I don't know, but that happens a lot. Either way, we're going to fish for a few hours this morning. Here's my plan, y'all. We're going to just take a stretch of the river here and just go with it. We're going to suspend the whole time. That's all we're doing today. We're going to suspend fish. I love doing this. It's my favorite way to fish, so we're going to do that. Here's another thought I've been having involving the light tackle. This may be one of those experiments I told you all not to waste a lot of time with, but here I go, doing one of these things. But I think on one of my upcoming trips, I'm going to do some light tackle dragging. And when I say light tackle, of course, I don't necessarily mean light action rods, but just lighter than what I normally use. Like both of these rods I have out today are medium heavy action. That's a medium heavy Catfish Sumo rod, my signature rod there, and that's a medium heavy Ugly Stick inshore rod on the right. Even though they're both medium heavy, quote unquote, their actions are way different. My signature rod is way heavier action than the other one. So when I say light tackle, lighter tackle, whatever, just know I'm using way lighter rods than what I would normally use for my regular catfish trips. But what I want to do is do some downsized dragging rigs and see if that will trigger more bites, see how they perform, see how well can I pull them with the lighter rods. Now, I don't necessarily want to use those Ugly Stick rods that I do for the suspending. I don't really want to use those for the dragging because I think the tips are going to be too flimsy. Like I like when I'm dragging, I like dragging with my signature rods for that reason, because the tips are a little bit stiffer. And I think when you're pulling along and your dragging sinker kind of gets, not necessarily snagged in something, but like it comes up to an obstruction. Like you're dragging along and maybe there's a rock down there, a log or something, and it comes up to the edge. If your rod tip's a little stiffer, it's just going to pull it right over, you know. But if you got a flimsy tip rod, your sinker's going to catch, and that rod's just the tip's going to load up. And then when it does finally spring forward, your bait's going to lurch a few feet. I don't like that. I want everything pulling through the water smoothly when I'm dragging. Like I don't want all the herky-jerkiness. I don't want that. So I want to have lighter tackle rods that are a little bit faster action, I guess. I guess that's the proper word, like stiffer tips. I guess that would be faster action as far as rod lingo goes. But what I'm thinking is I would take some of the rods I use for bass fishing, graphite rods that are made for throwing swim baits or something like that, you know, heavier action bass rods, which will still be way lighter action than what I normally use for catfishing, but it will be a downsized rod with a stiffer tip that will hopefully take these maybe downsize, and I'm not even necessarily downsizing the dragging rigs, but definitely downsizing the leader line. Like I'll probably still use my regular sinkers, because this year I've been using them inline dragging sinkers, and they're only like 2 ounces. So I mean, they're a lighter weight sinker anyway. But for the back end of the rig, instead of using the 80-pound leaders and 10-aught size hooks, maybe I try the 15-pound leaders and smaller, thinner wire hooks. And we drag through places I would normally drag and see how they perform. And the reason for this is similar to what we're doing with the lighter tackle versus heavy tackle today. Is, will we find out that the lighter tackle outperforms? That it catches more fish? I don't know if we will or not. But it's one of those things, like I've been thinking about it. I'm like, well, I've been catching a lot of fish, a lot more fish on the light tackle versus the heavy tackle. And part of that too is the fact that we're using, for the most part, smaller baits. So a lot of the fish we catch, they're smaller, that maybe they would have tried to eat our bigger baits and bigger hooks. They just can't. Like they can come up and bite it, but they can't get the whole bait, or they got to hit it just right to get the hook. But I'll tell you, man, the last day we fished light versus heavy, the skipjack on the heavy rig, man, it only caught one fish, but I think we only maybe got bit a couple times. Meanwhile, the light tackle rod just kept going down, kept going down, kept going down. So, I mean, I don't know, but I'm curious. I'm curious to try it out. And of course, we're in this time of year now where we're in the fall, and YouTube views have gone off a cliff. I mean, it happens every year. Post Labor Day, views on fishing channels, specifically my channel being a kayak channel, they just off a cliff. So if you're going to try something, I kind of look at it as like, this is my off season. From now through about March is my off season. So yeah, I'm still putting out videos. I'm cranking out the content because I'm out here on the water, I'm fishing and stuff. But it is a opportunity for me to kind of try different things. And if it doesn't work out, well, that's okay. And if I don't get videos or whatever, like it's okay. It's not like it is in the summer months where I am getting a ton of views and the channel's growing and stuff. Like if I try stuff on during those peak months and it costs me video content, well, then it truly negatively impacts me and negatively impacts the channel. But this time of year, like if we try something today and it don't work out, well, no big deal. So I do like to try stuff this time of year because of that. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, on one hand, I would like to have a channel that was able to get great number of views 12 months a year. I mean, as far as my wallet goes, that would be a lot better if I could do that. But at the same time too, if that was the case, and I never really had that kind of mentality of having some off time, that really wouldn't be good either. I mean, it's nice to get out and try new things, or if I get new camera gear or whatever it is that's new, where you might have things that either go wrong or just don't work out like you would hope and it costs you content. Well, it's nice to have a time period throughout the year where you can have days and things go wrong where it doesn't negatively impact you. So from that aspect, it's kind of good. But yeah, from after Labor Day to March, April every year, it's, with the exception of last year. Now last year I was hitting the algorithm jackpot with these long videos and such, man. But this year they tweaked something in the algorithm around February there, and that kind of dried up. And so now we're back to reality that once we get past Labor Day, it just goes off the cliff. And that's just because I've told you all this before, but like the casual viewer who watches fishing videos, those people make up the bulk of the views on a YouTube channel. those people, they watch a lot of fishing content in the summer when most people are going fishing. The casual fishermen are going fishing. But once you get in to September, things change. Kids, they're back at school. Football season started. Hunting season is getting going. So people are watching. One, they have less time because kids are back at school, they've got activities going on. Football, I mean, a big portion of the people who watch fishing videos watch football. I mean, hell, it's 4 days a week in my house, man. Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, like we're watching football. So I get it. And of course, too, a lot of the casual fishermen are also casual hunters. So they will be watching hunting videos this time of year. And when you lose all those casual viewers, channels decline. And it'll happen all the way through February, and then you'll start seeing a little bit of an uptick in March, and then it'll pick up all the way through summer. June, July, August are always just peak months for fishing videos, especially kayak fishing videos. Not a lot of people are kayak fishing in the middle of winter. I do it because, well, I love kayak fishing. But unless somebody's going to the beach where it's warm, you don't see a lot of people north of Tennessee kayak fishing in the winter. So anyway, I got off on a tangent there, but I'm just stating the facts. I have more time this time of year to dedicate to things that I wouldn't maybe normally put time into when I need to catch fish and I need to get content. So anyway, in an upcoming trip, if things go well, you'll be seeing me using some lighter action rods to drag with downsized rigs. If that trip doesn't go well, if maybe I don't catch fish or it just ain't working out for whatever reason, you won't see it. I mean, I'm not going to waste your time on that crap, but it is something that I'm going to be doing. And I mean, who knows? Who knows how it'll go? I read a book a long time ago from Alan Batista. I remember his name because he's got the same name as the wrestler, Batista. But it was light tackle trolling the Chesapeake Bay. It was about striped bass. And that fella, he is a striped bass fisherman. I believe I think it's Virginia where Chesapeake Bay is, if I ain't mistaken. But anyway, he fishes out of a kayak. And he uses lighter, and I say light tackle, but it's lighter tackle rods for striped bass. He's using basically medium heavy and heavy action bass rods, like largemouth bass rods for stripers, which is a little bit lighter action than what you would typically use if you were a striper fisherman. But he does that using artificial lures. And he gets out there and he does a lot of trolling in Chesapeake Bay. That's pretty much what the book was about, light tackle. I mean, it was literally titled Light Tackle Trolling Chesapeake Bay, and it was about using the lighter rods with the lures and getting out there and covering water and catching fish and stuff. And I'm going to tell you, man, he catches a bunch of fish, He's got a bunch of big fish throughout his time up there. And it's just, it's one of those things with me. It's like, we see it. You see it across the board in fishing, but yet none of us apply it in catfishing, where if you're fishing clear water, and I don't know if you can tell out here today or not, maybe when we reel in a fish, you'll be able to see it better, but this water out here today is pretty daggone clear. I mean, there's a few feet of visibility. I do think they got some rain down here last night, which would explain the fog. Oh, right rod. Eat it, fish. Oh, he got it in. Nope, he come free. He wants it. He's back after it. Doo-doo or get off the pot, fish. Well, he hit it 4 or 5 times. I wonder if he got our bait. I'm tempted to reel up and see if he got our bait or not. I think he did. Took him 5 tries, but he got it. Yep. Let's grab another one out of here. Put on another shad body section on that one, and when we switch out our head bait over here, I'm gonna give it a little bit more time since it was one of our bigger fish, but we'll end up putting a body section on the other one and a head bait on this one. Like I said, we're gonna rotate today. Throw that tail piece out. But no, like what I was getting ready to say about clear water, like every other type of fish, when you are in clear water, you downsize. You downsize your lures, you downsize your line. Bass fishermen do it, like largemouth, smallmouth. Those fellas do it. Just from ultralight fishing, y'all know I love ultralight fishing. When I went from 4-pound line to 2-pound line, man, my number of catches went way up. Like it made a huge difference for me. Just downsizing, going from 4 to 2 on the ultralight. But yet, for catfishing purposes, I mean, we're out here in a clear water situation, and now I'm fishing on weekday, so we probably won't see any other catfishermen out here. But if we did, oh look, hold on, look, bald eagle. You see him? American freedom symbol right there flying by. He's a professional fisherman too, folks. He's like them herons. He's on the hunt for some food probably. But in every other type of fishing, if you're in a clear water situation, it's downsize your line, downsize your lures, baits, all that. But catfishermen don't do it. They just keep using the same heavy rigs in all conditions. And just common sense and logic would say, well, if you need to kind of downsize things on all these other fish species in clear water situations, why wouldn't you need to do it for catfish too? Because I mean, I don't know, will the lighter tackle make a difference at all in muddy water or stained water? I don't know. But boy, it sure seemed to make a difference the other day, and we're going to be in almost identical conditions, because when that sun gets the rest of the fog burn off and gets more overhead, we're going to have a shadow going over these fish as we drift across in the kayak. And you have to believe with enough light penetration down there, they're going to get a look at our baits and lines and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but I have to believe on some level it probably does. And you might just say, well, Justin, why don't you go find some better color water, something's got a little stain to it or something. Well, it's hard to find out right now, folks, because we ain't had a lot of rain lately. Now, I do think we got some here last night. It didn't rain at my house, but there was some heavy downpours in the general area around me. And radar, oh, heavy rod got thumped. Nice takedown right there, nice takedown. Okay, he's gonna pull now. That's our gizzard shad head. Boy, he's headed back up under us too. He's going the other way. I don't know where he thinks he's going. Did you tell him he's coming up here? I think I need to loosen my drag a little bit too. It's either gotten tight or it didn't give on me. Sometimes my drag gets bumped getting in and out of the vehicles. Yeah, that's a fun sizer right there. Old fun-sized kitty, but you can see how much water clarity we have there. I mean, we can see him down there. Gosh, I can see his tail 5 or 6 feet deep. So I mean, it's very clear water. Come here, fish. Let's see what we can do with you, you old gizzard shad head eating thing. Yeah, you old shad eater. You actually might be. He might be worth some front camera time. Let's stick our front camera mount up here. Y'all, you think he's worthy of it? Let me stick that up there while we get hold of him here. Just be calm. No, that ain't calm, fish. We had a conversation about this, how you needed to be. He didn't listen. He don't speak American, apparently. Come here. Just come on. Oh, you dang old fish. You splashed me in the face. He got me good, folks. Did he get water all over you? We'll find out here in a second. He got me right in the face. He splashed me good. You about to lose your front camera time, fish. Oh, he did. He got water all over you. Hold on. Dang old fish, man. He got me too, buddy. He got water. He got him on that side of my glasses here. Lord, here. He ain't worthy. He's a larger dink anyway. He ain't worthy of front camera time. I shouldn't have given you that. I shouldn't have rewarded that bad behavior, fish. Unreal thing. All right, let's get you all back over here. The wind's blowing us up on this ledge a little bit here. I got to get us back off. We're going to get that line hung. And then we're going to, I'm going to put another one of them bigger shad. And we'll put the midsection on that rod, and then when we switch our bait out on the light tackle rod again next, we'll put a head bait on it. Let me just get us back over here before we drop down again. There we go. I want to be right off the bottom edge of that ledge. This time of year, there's all kinds of schools of shad, and you can see up here on the surface. There's one, there's one. There's a bunch of fish under it. Like, there's all kinds of shad this time of year out here in the channel and such. And you'll get these catfish following them around. And we're just trying to cover some water and eventually run into some fish that are willing to eat. Because we're basically creating, with these shad being so fresh, we're creating a situation where it's like something just fell out of them big schools and have fallen down toward the bottom, toward them fish. And they're opportunistic. They'll eat them. All right. Well, let's go ahead. Like I said, I'm going to put the body section on here. I'm going to just reel that other line up and put that head bait on it. I like having a big head bait out all the time if possible. I have so much confidence. No matter what kind of bait I'm using, I have a ton of confidence in the heads. So I want to make sure we got a head bait out at all times. All right, well, we're 1-to-1 so far. 1 on the light tackle, 1 on the heavy tackle. And the heavy tackle's got the biggest so far. So, tie ball game right now. Y'all have to keep track of that kind of thing. You know I'm going to lose track of it quickly. I can't talk to y'all and count past about 3. Okay. All right, there's our head bait. We'll put it on the light tackle. That fish there, as hard as he fought, man, he would have been great on the light tackle. Wasn't very big. I mean, he definitely fought above his weight class. But that's how we want them. I'd rather them have me thinking they're bigger than they are than to be a bigger fish and barely fight. Put our bait back up here. Yeah, it took us a long time to get them shad this morning. 30-something minutes. So I'd like to have been out here fishing a little sooner. Yeah, I gotta loosen that drag right there a little bit. There we go. That's better. I'd like to have been out here fishing sooner. Would have really liked this fog to last a little longer, just to give us a little cover. I mean, in the event that what we're kind of experimenting with, if it does make a difference, then definitely the clear water and the shadow going over the top. Now, I don't think it's as big a deal in a kayak as it would be a boat, because the shadow from the kayak is going to be much smaller, right? Like we're in this kayak here, I mean, hell, we're not much different than a log floating over. But it is still a shadow going right over the top of fish as that sun gets up. So if it's a day where they're a little bit hesitant, a little bit spooky, and you give them a reason not to bite, well, they're probably not going to bite. And it ain't always easy to go find water with some color in it in these reservoirs, because when you've not had a lot of rain and you've not had a lot of current flow and stuff, like it's just from one end of the reservoir to the other, it's just clear water. And it obviously gets more clear the further down you get, but unless you've had some rain or they're really churning at the dams, like it's clear from top to bottom. So you gotta adapt to it. And that's one of those things, like, I don't feel like, as catfishermen, I don't feel like we adapt. I feel like we just do what we do all the time. And you go out and you got conditions like today and you don't catch fish, like, well, boy, they wasn't biting today. Maybe they wasn't. Or maybe they were. And they just wasn't willing to bite what we were putting down because they knew something was off about it. So that's one of the things we're going to maybe get to the bottom of. And if it turns out we try this a while and turns out to be no effect at all, well, then we'll know that what we've always thought of catfish not being line shy, we'll know it to be true, because we will have proven it to ourselves. A lot of things, and this ain't just true in fishing, I mean, this is true in life. You could probably name a dozen things off the top of your head that's kind of just culturally ingrained in us as true, and we accept it as being true, even though me, you, nobody else we know has actually done the research and experiments to try and prove it to be true. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff like that. Another example right off the top of my head, circle hooks. From the time I got started catfishing, I was told, man, circle hooks, everybody preaching them, circle hooks, less gut hooks versus the J hook style. And so I just always used circle hooks. And circle hooks do work really well for preventing gut hooks. Now, I will still, throughout the year, it don't matter if I'm using the big ones, like over here on the left rod, or just when I've used smaller hooks too, like you will gut hook a few fish throughout the year with circle hooks. I mean, statistically speaking, it's a very tiny percentage of fish. But you will still occasionally get one that's hooked a little too deep with the circle hook. Or you'll catch fish too that are hooked in the mouth, but they're not really hooked like you would like them to be with the circle hook. I mean, the circle hook in a perfect scenario, Fish eats the bait. And as he either goes to swim off or you crank down on him, that pressure turns the hook and it gets him in the corner of the mouth. That's how it's supposed to work. And you do catch a lot of fish in the corner of the mouth with circle hooks. Most of them, probably. You know, I ain't really looked into it that much as far as my own results, but I mean, it's a large percentage of fish gets in the corner of the mouth like it's supposed to. But you will, over the course of the year, you're going to gut hook a few, and you're going to get some that are hooked in different places, maybe the tooth patch or further back in the mouth, et cetera, et cetera. And where I'm going with all this is that, man, from the time I started catfishing over 20 years ago at this point, it was preached to me that you use circle hooks. But since we've been this light tackle fishing, I realized pretty quickly on I wasn't doing as good when I tried the circle hooks on this. So I've been using shiner hooks. We've used mosquito hooks. I used another like finesse type hook. And yet, even though I'm using non-circle hooks, I'm not gut hooking very many fish. Now, I did gut hook one recently. He wasn't even really gut hooked. He was just hooked so far back I couldn't get it. And I was afraid I was going to do more damage trying to get it. So I just cut the line. But with the number of fish that we've caught now, with the light tackle stuff, you would think we would be gut hooking more fish the way a lot of these cat fishermen talk about the circle hooks and stuff. And I just ain't, I'm not experiencing it firsthand. Same thing too, like I don't have a fly tied on this rig today. I need to get some more flies, actually, I'm out. But I've been using on my heavier tackle suspend rigs, having these flies, the bait stalker flies there from Catfish Sumo. I put them on underneath the circle hook. And I've caught a bunch of fish on them flies, and they have a J-hook style hook on the fly itself. Well, again, it's one of those situations like if you believe everything you've heard, well, hell, you should be just gut hooking fish left and right. But again, maybe I gut hook. Of all the fish I've caught on them flies, I mean, how many have been gut hooked? One or two, maybe? So, I mean, it's a very, very small percentage. And I don't know that it makes that big a difference. Now, maybe with certain baits it does. Maybe if you're, because, I mean, I've heard this I started catfishing in my early 20s, so, I mean, this has been over 20 years that I've had people preaching circle hooks, and Lord knows I've preached it too, because, I mean, it's what culturally you're supposed to do, as ingrained in me. But when you think back to how people used to catfish, I mean, now people are catfishing. Everybody I know that catfishes now, they're using cut bait or live bait, right? But you go back in time, and the mentality was different. Everybody thought, oh, catfish, they're just bottom feeders. They're just eating garbage off the bottom, and people are throwing chicken livers, and they're throwing stink baits and all that. And it's like, well, if you're putting stink bait on a little tube thing on a treble hook and casting it out, and you're fishing on the bank and you ain't paying attention and stuff, or chicken livers and some pantyhose with a treble hook in it, and again, you're casting out from the bank, not paying attention, and fish come up and eat that whole contraption and they swallow that treble hook, well, you know, you probably are going to gut hook some fish. But when everything started to kind of change, people started using more cut bait and live baits more for catfishing. They made that change on the baits, and they changed the hooks at the same time. So it's like, did you stop getting as many gut hooks because of the hooks themselves, or just because you were switching up the baits? Who knows? But either way, it's one of those things that from the beginning of time, at least my time of catfishing anyway, I have heard circle hooks. Circle hooks what you use. You look at any catfish hook option out there, it's circle hooks. But yet, I'm using different kind of hooks on these light tackle rigs, and I ain't gut hooking fish. At least, hell, I say that. Watch us gut hook the next one. But there's a lot of things like that. My point is, there's a lot of things that have just been culturally accepted, and the new generation of fishermen who are coming into the sport are just adopting these things. Circle hooks, heavy line, heavy gear. Like, they're just adopting these things right out the gate and never questioning it, because the people that they're learning from, people like me, other YouTubers, tournament fishermen and stuff, like, that's what they do, and that's what they've always done, and they've had success with it. So as we teach the new people into the sport, either through YouTube videos or guide trips or tournaments, however new people are learning from you, they're learning what you teach them. And in my case, like, I'm teaching people what I have been taught in a sense, right? Like, when it comes to gear and things like that, a lot of the techniques and stuff, like, I've had to kind of trial and error learn that stuff on my own. But like the gear and whatnot, I just used what everybody else was using. No questions asked. So, and look, there's an argument to be made. If you're going after just trophy fish, like if your goal is to catch only 80 and 100 pounders, like if that's all you care about, well, in that situation, you don't need to waste your time with any of this light tackle stuff. Because if you do hook the 80 pounder with 15-pound line and a tiny light wire hook, your chance of success landing it is minimal. But how many people out there are truly the trophy hunters? Like, I want to catch big fish. I would love to catch an 80 pounder today. Hell, I'd love to do it on that light tackle rod, to be honest with you. But I'm also perfectly content coming out here and catching some fish. And I like catching fish. And I think that's the case with most people. Most people, and they go out and they hit the water, like, they want to catch fish. They want to catch big fish, but they want to catch fish. They want to get action. They want to get bites. And if you rig up all your tackle just for that fish of a lifetime, it's great when the fish of the lifetime happens. But what about all the other fish? And all the other trips and the months and the years that go by that you don't catch that fish? Are you maximizing your fun? No. So then it becomes like, do you rig up your tackle and prepare for the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that may never happen, and reduce the amount of fun and just overall catches? Or do you try to enjoy the other fish, the overall catches you have, you get maximum fun out of it while hoping for the best if you do hook into that 100-pound fish? There's no right or wrong. I mean, to each their own. Whatever your goals are, they're your personal goals. So you do you. Oh, light tackle rod. Oh, buddy, he took it down. Here we go. This is on that head. Well, he hit it hard to start with, but he ain't gonna turn into, oh, and he just let it go. He could hear the disappointment in my voice, and he's like, you know what, screw this, Justin, I'll just let it go. Well, you know what, fish, you left that head on there in good shape. I'm gonna drop it back down. We'll see if we can get another one on it. All right, well, that's what, 2 bites now on the head bait. Can't count it as a catch though, because we didn't catch it. So I mean, you know, I just don't know, man. I'll be the first to let you know that I don't know. I think a lot of times people see me and other people, and we're on YouTube, we're catching fish. YouTube channels had a lot of success. They just automatically assume that you are an expert and that you know everything. And you know, I know some. I mean, I've had some success. He's back on it. He's back on it. He thumped it. Nice slow takedown. Let's see. Oh, pulled it out of his mouth. It looks okay. I'm gonna hook it different though. The smaller hook, let's run it through the back. Let's try that. Could be a smaller fish that didn't get the whole bait. Sometimes I think if you're using a small hook and hooking them up under the gills like I typically like to hook them, maybe that might affect it too. But like I was saying, man, I'll be the first to admit that, you know, I'm not an expert. I've had some success. I've caught a bunch of fish. I've won my fair share of tournaments. But there's still a lot that I don't know and don't understand. And I'll be the first to admit that the methods I use, there could be better ways to do it. Or maybe the techniques I use on a particular day maybe ain't the best technique to use on that particular day. Like I'll be the first to tell you that. I don't try to tell you something that I am something I ain't. But what I do know is, I mean, if you put your baits where fish are at, where they're going to be, where they're going to pass through, like today out here on this ledge, I don't know where fish are going to be up and down on this ledge, but I know as we drift down through here, we're going to come across some. And if we can offer them a fresh cut of bait that they're already eating, we're going to have a chance at getting them to bite. And that's fact. Like that, I can tell you that for 100% certainty fact. If you put your baits, put a bait that fish are naturally eating, and you put it in front of them when they are ready to eat, you'll have a chance of catching them. I mean, that's just about as common sense logic as it gets. But what technique's going to work the best on a given day, the tackle, the bait itself, like I can't always tell you that. If I could, I'd never lose a tournament, right? Like I've had some success. I've won several, but I don't win every time. The last tournament I fished up there at Hoover in Ohio, prime example, man. I just couldn't get them dialed in. I caught some fish. I caught some fish on practice day and caught some fish on tournament day, enough for 6th place. But the winners, people who cashed in that tournament, they were fishing 3 foot of water or less. I never went back that shallow. And, that's on me. But it's just, man, every body of water is a little bit different. And you just gotta put your time in, take your lumps, and over the course of time, you'll figure out things. You'll figure out patterns. You'll figure out times of year, types of spots, depths. You'll figure out situations where, like, if the current's flowing a certain amount, you'll find fish here and whatnot. And you'll learn that over time and be able to kind of replicate those bites. But as far as just getting back to like the tackle, the hooks, type of hooks and stuff, like, I don't know how these things get started. Like, who eventually, we're maybe gut hooking too many. Let's go circle hooks. And then all the catfish companies pile on, right? Like, now everybody's got their own version of a circle hook. Oh, he's back on it again. Can we keep one hooked up this time? On that head bait. If we can, we will hook the next one that way too. I think we're going to keep him hooked up. But do we want to keep him hooked up? No, we don't. Why don't you just go ahead and unhook yourself, fair fish? One of y'all unhook him for me, would you? All that slime up our line right there. Dirtying up the place, fish. That's nasty. Nasty old slime. Well, hooking that bait like that did at least got us a bite here, and got us one that we could keep hooked up. All right, little eater. Let's send him back on. We had a head bait on. We got to chunk on that side. I'm gonna go ahead and put another head bait on over here. When we switch that bait out, we'll mix them up again. I actually had that other head from that other bait we'd cut a little while ago. That's a small head. Let's put it down and see what happens. Already got it cut. We can make quicker time as I make a bunch of noise. Then I'm gonna show you the screen on the graph here in a second. It's lit up right now. Let's send that thing down. Here, let me show you before I send it down, I guess. Be the nice thing to do, see? Tiny. We ain't gonna leave that on very long with it being so small, but we're on top of some fish right now, which I'm gonna show you here in 2 seconds when I get this thing down. There it is. Let that sinker hit bottom. Reel my rod tip down, and I'm gonna set it in the water surface, or set it in the rod holder, so it's just off the bottom down there. That was a school of shad we've missed out on. That's a bunch of fish right there along the bottom. So we've got some fish here, man. They're around. We're 39 feet. No, we actually ain't 39 feet. We've fallen off. I think maybe whatever that was blocking out our screen or transducer a little bit. But anyway, there's definitely some fish here. You can see we're on the edge of the ledge. So we'll try that smaller head for a little bit. See if we get it bit, and then when we rebait here in a little while, I will take another one of them bigger shad. We'll put head bait on the heavy tackle rod and put the chunk back on this. We'll just keep rotating. That's what we'll do today. Have us fun here for a couple more hours, and I'm gonna go get some lunch and relax a little bit. I've been working hard around the house lately. My blister, thankfully, is about healed right there. I was fixing my driveway and tamping down some of that asphalt in the bag. And you know me and manual labor, buddy. I'm a little soft for that now. I shouldn't be doing no manual labor, but done that. And then I got down by my road. I've had problems with water running off the road, or running down the road really, and kind of washing out some areas by my fence. And so I got down there and I dug a trench from the road to where I want it to flow under my fence, and then I rocked it. So I'm hoping as water comes off the road and down the hill by my neighbors, it will hit that trench and them rocks and divert under the part of the fence I want it to go, and then go down in the gully that way, instead of just washing everything out like it has been. We'll see how it goes. We need some rain for me to find out if what I have done will be effective or not. It don't look like it's, I thought last night it might happen. But apparently it rained here, not where I needed it to. There goes Bass Boat Man. You think he'll catch anything today? I doubt it. Hell, he's drove by 1,000 fish. He's drove by 1,000 fish working up through here. Oh, light tackle rod again. That small head. He took it over a little bit and let it go. That head right there is so small. They can't not get that bait and the hook too. Because I mean, you saw it. That was a small head. We took most of the shad from that one and I'd used it as a midsection. I better check it. See if he got the bait. Or foul hooked it maybe. Neither. He didn't get the bait and he didn't foul hook it. Let's send it back down. Yeah, there's another school of shad. It's about 20 feet deep. I'll show you here in just a second. All right, now I got that reset. I had a loop around my reel. Look at this. Look at that right there. You see all that shad right there? It's actually about 30 feet deep. And you've got some cats following along under. There's a fish right on top of it too, looks like. There's definitely some bait here, and there's definitely some fish around it. Now, can we get them to eat our baits? We'll see, but we are getting some bites. How long have we been out here now? We've a little over an hour now since we started catfishing, and we've had, what, 3 fish landed and 2 or 3 other bites. So, I mean, there's some fish here. That's quite a few bites in a short time. That's another thing about these type of videos. Oh. Well, another bite that didn't amount to nothing. But this style of video, you know, I want to show you from starting out this morning, netting some shad, to getting out here and drifting along. Like, I could have taken everything. We can take today's entire trip, and I could edit it down, show you my best throws there catching the shad. Even though, well, there really wasn't a good throw today. It was 2 here, 3 there, every throw it seemed like. But you get my point. Like, I could edit that down, make it look like I'd done that really quickly, come out here, we could edit this part down, make it look like we were getting bit nonstop. It's not realistic. You know, I want to show you what really happens. And if we have a good day and we make that one throw and get all the bait we need, great. If we come down through here and it's rods going down left and right all the way down through here, great. And it does happen. but not all the time. And I want you to have a realistic expectation of what you can expect at any given time. I just hate that. And it's part of social media, man. It's part of the culture of social media. It's that we show the highlights. We show a highlight reel, highlight film. And people, man, they think you're just the best fisherman ever. You get bit nonstop. They think you're just living the best life and everything. Everybody's so happy all the time and making money hand over fist. And I mean, you scroll through social media, you see the perceptions that are out there of people and whatnot. And it's just, if you really take some time to think about it, you know that it ain't true. Like, everybody has bad days. Everybody goes through rough times in life. When it comes to fishing, like, nobody catches fish all the time. People have skunk days. I have skunk days. You don't catch anything. But social media is set up to make us all think that our lives are inadequate, that our either fishing skills or whatever it is you're into, that we're inadequate. We're seeing everybody's best day on social media, and we compare our average day to another person's best day. And it may not even be their best day. It's just curated in such a way that it looks like it's their best day. And listen, I get why people do it. I mean, everybody wants recognition. They want people to embrace them and think they're better than they are. And it's an ego thing. I get why people do it. But there's also a lot of people out there that genuinely do, and I'm guilty of it myself. You compare your average day. It's hard when you go out fishing. I'll just use fishing as an example. You go out fishing and you stink it up out there, man. You don't have a good day. Maybe you don't catch anything or a couple small fish, but you can't figure it out. You just can't get the action that day. And then you go home and you get on social media and you're scrolling through and you're like, oh man, that person caught a big fish today. Oh man, this person's got huge fish. Oh, this one caught 30 fish today. It gets in your mind, you start thinking, man, all these other people, I can't do that. I didn't have that kind of day, and they did. They're better than me. And you literally, I mean, it's like that every single day, because as you scroll through, the worst day of your life is going to be somebody else's best day of theirs. That's just how it works. And I don't think social media is good in that aspect. There's really, these day and times, I really don't think social media is good for much. When it started out, it was a nice way to keep in touch with people that you just didn't see all the time. Like, it was an easy way to keep in touch with people. Your friends, family, especially like distant relatives, distant friends. In my situation, I was a travel nurse, so like I'd meet people, become friends with people for a few months, and then I would be off to the next hospital on the next contract and never see those people again. So it was a way to kind of keep in touch with people. But over the course of time, social media has evolved and it's changed, and now it's a way to, it's like a constant measuring stick comparing your life and your achievements to everybody else's, but it's not an even playing field. The playing field's not level, because big splash right there in front of us. What was that? I wasn't looking, I was watching that boat. I just caught part of its tail there with my eye. I didn't see it, but y'all can back up on the video right there and see what that was, because y'all was looking right at it. I don't know what that was. It's big, whatever it was, though, that's for sure. But no, like, social media is set up to compare our everyday, normal day with other people's, sometimes their best day, and sometimes just carefully curated perception of a best day ever, right? Like it's, and you can't believe anything on social media before. I mean, I stopped believing mainstream media a long time ago. Like, I don't really trust anything I see on the news, especially as it's concerned with political anything that can be deemed political or social issues. You can't trust the news at all. Well, now you can't trust social media anymore either. You can't trust what you're seeing on there. And I don't like what social media has turned into, man. Like, I don't like it. It honestly repulses me, but at the same time, I'm a hypocrite because this is what I do for a living now. Like, I post on social media and I take advantage of the systems they've created to fill my pockets. So am I any better than what I'm complaining against? I'm not. But at the same time, too, I'm not going to walk away from it because it gives me a life and a lifestyle that I enjoy. I don't want to go back to being a nurse. I like going out here and going fishing and getting paid while I do it. But in order for me to do that, I have to support these companies and these institutions that I don't agree with on a moral level. So it's a constant back and forth. It's like, a moral quandary, if you will. But I don't like these companies, man. Facebook, TikTok, YouTube is better than those companies, but they're still part of the problem too. Like, here's a prime example. Here recently we've had some tragedies, some horrific, violent crimes that were committed that were filmed and very quickly posted to social media. And everybody's fighting amongst themselves. This side's pointing the finger at this side, and obviously the people who've committed the crimes, everybody's pointing the finger at them, whatnot. But you know who nobody's pointing the finger at? The social media companies that allowed us to see it. So the way these algorithms work, or at least the way they are described to us as working, is that the algorithm is smarter than we are. The algorithm knows what we want to see, and it carefully selects videos that we will want to watch so that we will stay on that particular platform, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. All of these companies want to keep you on their platform so that you will consume more content, and therefore they can put more advertisements in front of you, which is how they make their money too. Social media companies, I don't care if it's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, they all make money basically two ways. Through selling ads, commercials, the commercials you're going to be seeing in this video, for instance. YouTube needs people on here on the platform watching these videos so they can serve up them ads, right? So that's how they make part of the money. The other way they make money is data collection. They're able to sell data to other companies to say, well, people in this age range living in this geographic location are more likely to watch this type of video or buy this kind of product, or et cetera, right? Like, that's valuable information to companies that are looking to sell you something. So that's how these companies make their money. And so they've created these algorithms that are supposed to be smarter than us. Like, instead of us going through and searching for what we think we want to watch and see on social media, the algorithm just starts showing us stuff that it thinks we want to see based on our prior viewing habits and whatnot. And boy, if it worked to perfection, what a great world that would be. If it could just read your mind and know what you wanted to see, how awesome would that be? But that ain't how it works in reality, folks. In reality, I think there's something a little bit more sinister going on. Yeah, you'll see a lot of the things you want to see on social media. I mean, like, I guarantee if I pulled out Facebook right now and started scrolling through, I would see a lot of fishing posts. I would see a lot of football stuff. I would see wrestling stuff and probably some G.I. Joe action figures on there, right? Mixed in with just normal friends' posts and whatnot. And that would be representative of what I typically would want to see on social media, right? I'm interested in stuff going on in football right now during football season. I watch wrestling, so, you know, anything going on with that, I'd be interested in. Fishing, obviously, I post a lot of fishing stuff, so it knows I'm into fishing. So when I see those things served to me on social media, I'm like, okay, well, the algorithm's doing a good job. And then you have a situation, which happened recently there, where we all get exposed to these horrific crime videos. And it's like, how did that happen? If the algorithm says, Justin, we're going to show you what you want to see, and then you see these, I mean, we were all subjected to it. I haven't talked to anybody that hasn't seen those videos. And why was I shown that? Why did the algorithm, these Facebook and TikToks and whatnot, why did they show me that? I don't search that. Like, I don't seek out that kind of content. It's not something I wanted to see. It's not something I think anybody should see. It's terrible. You know, you go back in time, not that far ago. I mean, really, before social media. Well, hell, not even social media. I mean, just the last few years is when social media has really declined. But go back prior to 5 or 10 years ago. Who was exposed to these kind of events? Well, military personnel, obviously, they would, you know, when they're over there fighting wars, they're going to see some violent things happen to people, right? And a lot of them come back home, and I mean, it's well documented. They come back home struggling with what they've seen. A lot of people, these military servicemen and women, they come back home with PTSD, and it's a lot of it stems from they have seen something, or multiple somethings, multiple events, and it's hard to process. You know, there's things in life you see that you can't take back, and everybody handles things differently, emotionally, psychologically. We don't all process things the same way. And a lot of people struggle with that. And so we've had a ton of people in the military come back, PTSD, that have really struggled with coping with what they have witnessed. You see it oftentimes too with like police and fire and paramedics, EMTs, like they pull up on some car crash and babies are burning and on fire. It's like you can't unsee that kind of thing, right? It can be difficult to process those things mentally, emotionally and stuff. And so prior to social media, the only people who dealt with this kind of thing was your military, police, fire, things like that. Oh, rod getting hit. He's back after it. That rod tip stood up. Let's pick up on this and just crank down. Okay, we got him. I don't know if we want to get him. This is another one right here. Oh, and he just let go. He just let go too. Let's switch out our baits. I want to put on a little bit bigger head bait than this. I'll tell you what we're going to do too. We're going to switch out the other one on the heavy rod too, while we're at it. And I'm going to finish my rant here on why these social media companies are the devil and how I'm a big hypocrite because I continue to profit off of them while simultaneously hating everything about it. But first, let's get our bait situated here. Okay. The light tackle rod has definitely, whether we've had the chunk or the head on, it has been hit more than the heavier tackle rod thus far. But we've also had a bunch of bites that have just not materialized into catches. Could be the size of the fish, maybe the hook, I don't know. Could be a number of things. Let's go ahead and just reel this one in too. Hell, I don't think we got a bait on here. Hell, we're sitting down there with a bare hook. Well, that's one reason why that rod ain't getting hit. All right, let's put that through there. We'll get our shad head back down there. The head bait will be harder for them to rip off than them chunks. Shad's a soft bait. Even when they're fresh like they are today, they're still softer bait. Easier for them to rip off the hook than some of the other baits out there. So anyway, back to what I'm going with this. So prior to social media, you had your people, military, police, fire, paramedics, seeing stuff that they can't unsee. And you also would have people, just regular citizens, who would be in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? Like maybe they were either the victim of a violent crime or witnessed a violent crime. And those people would also, they would be in situations where they might need therapy or, have to process what they saw, because what they saw was so horrific. It was something that that you're just not supposed to see, right? I mean, hell, from the time we've been kids, we've been watching movies about Batman, reading comic books about Batman. Well, what happened to Bruce Wayne to turn him into Batman? He watched his parents get killed, right? Like it was a traumatic event for him and turned him into a vigilante. Like this has been documented throughout history, folks, that we're not supposed to see these things. We don't handle it well as human beings. Well, fast forward to modern day times, social media and these algorithms that show us what they think we want to see. Well, now we're having these videos put right in front of our face. Nobody's searching for them. But we're seeing people, literally killed right in front of our eyes. Now, granted, we're not there in person, we're watching it on video, but it still affects you. And, I see that and I'm like, man, that's, and I've seen a lot of people die in my life, folks. Like working as an ER nurse for as long as I did, like I've watched a lot of people die, okay? And I've seen people die that were victims of crimes, shootings, stabbings, etc. Now, granted, not seeing it happen live, you're seeing it in the aftermath. Once they come to the hospital, I would see it. So, not as traumatic from that aspect of like actually seeing the crime take place, but still, I've seen a lot of people die. And yet I see these videos on social media and it's like, I can see how it affects me, but then I think about the people that don't have any experience with death. Children, either small children or school age, even high schoolers. Everybody's on social media these days, even kids. And the algorithm's just serving this video up to everybody. And it's like, how, I mean, throughout history, you've had people that I mean, it's well documented. People, you're not supposed to see these things, and a big portion of the people who do see them, these violent crimes and stuff, you're going to have a hard time with it for a while. Like, you're going to have to really work through it to be able to function. We've seen it with military. We've seen it with, people who have been either victims or watched these crimes and stuff. Like, we've seen it throughout human history. Yet social media companies just put it in front of millions of people throughout the world. And it ain't just, I mean, obviously a couple of the videos recently have been very bad and very well documented, but I mean, there's stuff like that on social media every day. And you don't have to look hard to find it. You just keep scrolling long enough, you're going to see it. And social media companies, like, what is it that they're trying to do? Are they trying to create a society of victims? Are they trying to cause more emotional trauma so that we'll stay fighting amongst ourselves? I don't know the motivations behind it, but it's a problem, and nobody's pointing the finger at social media companies. We shouldn't see that. And you can't tell me, well, everybody at that college that day had their cell phone out. So a lot of people's upload this kind of thing, right? I get it. But, I mean, just a few years ago on YouTube, I can't remember what year it was, but it's a few years back. They were getting better at transcribing YouTubers' voices, like on the videos, like for closed captioning and stuff. Like, they were getting better at it, but they weren't good at it. And so every time I would upload a video, I would get flagged. And it happened for a few weeks. Like, immediately, as soon as I uploaded it, before it ever posted to go out for you to watch it, I would be flagged and demonetized. Because whatever their program was that was transcribing my voice, it was thinking I was saying stuff that I wasn't saying. And it knew instantly. I mean, I could be uploading a long video, it didn't matter. As soon as it uploaded, their programs was able to determine, like, oh, this is inappropriate. This rod got thumped right here. Got another one. Oh, and he come free too. We can't keep them hooked up for love or money. The bait still looks good. It ain't foul hooked. It's got to be small fish just hitting the bait and not the hook too. Has to be. We're just missing 2 Yagon mini. I had another trip recently like this too, where I missed a bunch of fish. Didn't have no exclamation for it that day, just like I don't today. Dadgummit. Yeah, I broke my train of thought on what I was ranting on. Oh, the computer program. So yeah, I mean, years ago, YouTube, even though it was wrong, it got my words wrong, it thought what I was saying was inappropriate and would instantly flag it. Now, you're telling me that if I was getting flagged 4, 5, 6 years ago, however long it was, you're telling me the technology ain't got any better? That they don't know instantly when a video like that's being uploaded, what it's about, what's going on in it? That they can't get control of it instantly? Bullarky. They let that video get uploaded numerous times, and they purposely showed it in front of everybody. The algorithm that only shows you what it thinks you want to see showed it to everybody. It didn't discriminate. Small children, teenagers, adults, it showed it to all. And it's like, who's holding these social media companies responsible for that? Literally nobody, because we're just fighting amongst ourselves. And we got hit again. He's after it. Now this one's getting messed with now. We're going through some fish. You see them right there on the screen. Right there. You see them. They're just nipping. He's back after it again. Just a nip here and a nip there. But the point is, like, social media has to, like, and listen, I'm not advocating for censorship. And it's a slippery slope, because if you let social media say, okay, if you give them control and say, well, we're going to limit what you can see, that's a slippery slope and will get taken advantage of. But at the same time, too, I have to believe with what they're showing is intentional. And I don't know their goals behind it. But like, you know, again, I told you what my social media is. It's G.I. Joes, wrestling, football, fishing. There's nothing in my search history that would suggest I want to see any of that other stuff, and yet I'm exposed. Same thing, small children, exposed. And listen, I know we're in a different world now. You know, when I grew up in the 80s, TV shows like The A-Team, Dukes of Hazzard, the shows were different back then, right? Like The A-Team, man, they'd be in a battle with somebody, in a fight with somebody, and there'd be a car flip off a ravine or something, and they would do a clip. You would see the driver of that vehicle that just wrecked getting out of the car, and it was showing you, the viewer, hey, that person's okay. They're all right. You'd see it on Dukes of Hazzard, man. Roscoe P. Coltrane, he'd be chasing the Duke boys, crash into the creek, and it would show him getting out. He's okay. Roscoe P. Coltrane, he's all right. Something changed, I don't know, 90s, 2000s, but now shows are a lot more violent, a lot more graphic. Video games are more violent and graphic. So the argument is that children today and the culture overall, that we're used to seeing this kind of stuff. We see it on TV all the time, movies, we see it on video games. But I'm gonna tell you something, folks, it's different when, even for kids, the brain's not fully developed yet, depending, you know, on the age and stuff, but like, when they see somebody get killed in a movie or in a video game, it's different because they know it's fictional. When the movie ends, you know that you're going to see that actor that got killed in the movie, you're going to see him again in a few months in a different movie. He didn't really die. When you're playing a video game, you know when you turn the video game off, it's a video game. It's different when you're seeing it happen in real life to real people. It's different. It's different. It affects you different. It affects, especially these children and young people, affects them different. And I just have to wonder, like, 15, 20 years down the road, like, where are we going to be in society when, because, I mean, when you look at where social media was 10 years ago, and you look at where it is today, here comes another fish. Will he stay hooked up? Nope. They're just messing with it. But when you look at where we've been to where we are today, boy, it's a big difference. A big difference. And you play that out another 5 years, 10 years down the line, what does that look like then? I mean, we're getting, in a sense, we're kind of getting desensitized to a lot of things. Things that used to would be like, oh my gosh, type moments. Now we don't bat an eye at. And, well, I mean, I'll give you an example. Like remember when Columbine happened? and Sandy Hook. Like these were like, I mean, you just be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. Like shock moments where like you stop what you're doing and you're like, wow, like I can't believe, I'm gonna be shocked if this fish stays hooked. That'll be the biggest shocker of the day. Yeah, I think this one might stay buttoned up. But it's another small. Where's your bigger kinfolk at, fish? That's what I want to know. I want to know where your bigger cousin's at. The one that's missing a tooth. That's the one I want to battle today, fish. This fish don't give a crap what I want. He says go post about it on social media. That's what he said. What kind of social media you got down there, fish? Are they showing videos you shouldn't see too? He says they show videos of me on their social media. Traumatic events of me sticking their friends, other catfish. Come here. Let me get hold of you. What did he eat? He ate the chunk. He ate the body section, didn't he? And another small. Another bite, but another... Oh, he splashed water all over us. I just got the water off my glasses a little while ago. He got me again. Did he get y'all? Oh, hell, you got a water spot right there in the dang center of the lens, though. When did that happen? Let me fix that. I don't know when that got on there. We got all kinds of stuff happening here. Let's get another body chunk. Here we are, though, folks, having a situation where, similar to the other day, where we're catching more fish and getting more bites on the light tackle rod than we are the heavy. I'm gonna throw that one out. Throw that leaf out there too. Let's get this on there and I'm gonna finish up this depressing story. But you know, it's just I think back to things we've seen in the past that were traumatic events that just makes you stop and be like, wow, did that really happen? Nowadays, though, I mean, hell, I feel like there's a Columbine happens about every week now. Nobody bats an eye. It's like we're getting so desensitized to everything, and it takes more and more violence and shock factor to actually get any kind of emotion or rise out of us to even keep our attention for longer than a couple seconds. Play that out another 5 years. Where are we at then? Like, I don't know. I don't have a clue, man. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. But I do think the social media companies are partially to blame when we are exposed to that kind of thing without our consent. I mean, okay, let me put this on you, okay? Facebook and TikTok and YouTube with YouTube Shorts, like they're all so damn greedy. They're so desperate to keep you on the platform. You remember when video stuff first started going on social media? You had to click on it. Like you had to press play before it would go. Well, now videos, just as you scroll through, they automatically start playing. And they do that to get money out of advertisers, right? Like if you have to click for a video to play, well, you know what you're not going to do? You're not going to click on commercials. When Tide washing powders pops up on there, you're going to scroll past it till you see something you might want to click on, right? Well, if the video automatically starts playing, and Facebook, they consider a video to be viewed, if you watch 1 second of a Facebook video, 1 second, if you're scrolling through and maybe you're reading this post right here, but this video is playing, that's a view. Facebook considers that's a view. So when these advertisers and stuff, when they're charging them, they're saying, yeah, we got you so many millions of views here on this video. Ain't nobody watching Tide Washing Powders commercial. But they can prove like, oh, well, you know, we had 2 million views, and yeah, 2 million times, yeah, that video got watched for 1 second as somebody scrolled by. Yeah. But that's why they do it. But used to, you had to click on stuff for the video to start playing. So then you at least had some control. You had some say in whether or not you saw a video or not. But with the stuff now, the way it is now, like, you're just scrolling through your feed, you're automatically exposed. Like, you're shown something before you even have a chance to make a decision of whether you want to see it or not. And that's the problem. That's the problem. People need a choice. They need the option to whether or not to see something. Like, you know, I've got friends that went and searched out those videos, like, you know, and listen, to each their own. But the people who didn't want to see it, and the people who shouldn't see it, especially any child, they didn't have a choice. It just automatically started playing. And so I don't know where we're at 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Because, I mean, I look at the things like the Columbines and the Sandy Hooks that were horrific events, would make you just, like, stop and question everything in the moment. Now we don't bat an eye when something like that happens. It's just a regular old Tuesday. So the things that we find shocking and repulsive today, is that 5 years from now, are we just going to be like, it's just a Thursday afternoon? And then like, what's the next progression? Like, what's the next thing that's going to take to get our attention? Like, how bad does it have to get? Like, man, I just don't know. I was talking the other night with my fiance. I don't know how we got on this topic, but I was like, I wonder if Vegas was taking odds. I mean, you can bet on anything in Vegas, and they'll come up with odds for it. But I was like, let's say hypothetically, I died before the age of 50, right? Now, I hope I don't. Lord knows I hope I don't. I'm trying to live for as long as I possibly can, as healthy as I can. But let's just say I die before age 50, and I'm somebody, I'm in pretty good shape, I'm in good health, I take care of myself. What would be the odds in Las Vegas? Like, what would it be that took me out? Like, if you were making a wager on it, what would it be that killed me? And I think the odds-on betting favorite would probably be some accident, right? Like a car crash. If you're somebody that's young and healthy, it's probably going to be some kind of accident that gets you. So that would be number one. That would be the highest odds or whatever. Second thing would probably be some kind of surprise cancer. You know, that takes out a lot of young people too, right? Like some kind of unexpected, unforeseen cancer diagnosis. That would probably be the next percentage play there, aside from accident. But when you start going down the list, sure, 48-year-olds, healthy, they're jogging every day. Some of those will fall over from a heart attack. I've seen them in the ER, man. I've seen it happens. Okay. Low statistical probability. A stroke. Again, sure. Do 40-year-olds have strokes? Absolutely. Is it a high statistical probability? No, it's not. So when you start playing those odds, it's like, okay, accident, maybe an unexpected cancer, then you get on down. I have to believe that probably number 3, maybe number 4 on the list of high. Oh, light tackle rod got bumped again. But number 3 or 4 on the list of statistical odds to take me out before age 50 was probably some nutcase that just, I'm either in the wrong place at the wrong time, or somebody specifically targets me. One of these people that's made threats because they don't like how I fish or what bait I use, etc. One of those, it only takes one nut job. Only one. That's all it takes. You never know, man. There's crazy people everywhere, and if one of them gets fixated on you, all it takes is one. So, I mean, if you look at the statistical odds, if I was to die young, of course, I don't know if 50's all that young, but you know what I mean. Somebody is good a shape as I am. If I get taken out before age 50, some kind of accident's probably number 1. And I would say any kind of accident. Like, it could be a car wreck, it could be maybe I fall off my roof while I'm cleaning out my gutters or something, some kind of accident. That would be the odds-on betting favorite. Then probably some unforeseen cancer. Then probably somebody just, I'm either in the wrong place, wrong time, or somebody specifically targets me. That's probably the number 3 pick in Las Vegas if you could make a wager on it. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? But it ain't that crazy when you think about society today. It's crazy that it would be a possibility, but it ain't that crazy to think it could happen. So, I mean, you just never know, man. You never know what kind of person you're dealing with or who is going to become fixated on you. I'll tell you a story of somebody I know. This happened here recently. You can look it up and read all about it on the Google. Go ahead. Don't click off this video, but pull up another screen right now. If you're watching this on your phone, get on your computer, or if you're on your TV, pull out your phone and Google Danville, Virginia, city councilman attacked. Some combination of that. So years ago, I worked as a travel nurse contract in Reidsville, North Carolina. One of the best hospitals I ever worked at, actually. Annie Penn Hospital up there in Reidsville. Small town, little community hospital. One of the best hospitals I ever worked at. It was a great job. It's one of those, as a travel nurse, you don't get to go to facilities like that very often. Most time, if a hospital's hiring travel nurses, it's because it's a dump, right? Like if it's all sunshine and rainbows, they don't need to bring in travel nurses to fill positions. They don't have problems retaining staff. But this particular hospital, when I got to go, they'd had some people get pregnant all around the same time, and so they had a short-term need for some travel nurses to come in and fill those spots, and so I got to go. It was a great hospital to work at. But anyway, I'm up there, and Reidsville's kind of on the border of North Carolina and Virginia. But anyway, I got to be friends with one of my coworkers, and her husband is the city councilman who I just had you Google right there. And so I became friends with her there at work, and wrestling came to town while I was up there on assignment. And so me and her husband and one of his friends, who happened to be a contestant on Survivor, which I'm a big fan of, all went to wrestling when it came into Greensboro, North Carolina back in the day. And this was back, I think I was there in 2012 or 13. So I mean, it's been a long time. This is a long time ago. But anyway, I got to be friends with her. His wife, I was friends with her there, working with her, and we, Facebook friends. It's like, one of the perks of social media, that situation where I worked with her 12, 13 years ago and have been able through social media to we don't keep in touch. It's not like we message each other often, but like, you know, I'll see her posts come up and whatnot. Occasionally send a message or something. You know, if she's having a kid, it's like, you know, congratulations, whatever type thing. So anyway, I'm scrolling through social media recently, and I see her on there. She's made a post with her kids, and it's referencing like a problem with her husband, like she said something like she's in the, is it their anniversary or something? She's in the hospital with the husband, whatever. I'm like, well, I wonder what happened to him, you know, because I'm nosy. You know, I want to know what's going on. But at the same time, too, I mean, I haven't really talked to this girl and like really talked to her in 12 or 13 years since I worked with her, other than just an occasional Facebook comment or something like that. So I can't just reach out and be like, hey, I'm nosy, what's going on? You know, I got to back channel it, right? And of course, she's young, she's my, well, I say she's young, she's my age, so, you know, she's probably 40 and he's probably in that range now too, late 30s, early 40s. And so again, he's in the hospital. I'm like, wonder what happened. And you go through the statistical odds like I just went through. I'm like, well, I bet it was a car wreck. Yeah, that's my first thing. It's probably some accident, right? So I get on the Google. Well, I'm like, well, let me go to Google first before I start asking other people I worked with, being nosy. So I get on Google, and boy, much to my surprise, I'm pulling up the same articles that you just pulled up, that this dude was set on fire. So in case you haven't Googled it, I'll give you the Cliff's Notes version of the story here. He pissed somebody off, somebody that was clearly not very mentally stable. Dude goes to his workplace. He was working. He's on the Danville City Council, but you know, those city council jobs don't pay very much. So you know, he's got a regular job on top of his political duties. And, oh, hold on, fish. Another one on the light tackle. Another small though, unfortunately, but it's another bite. Another bite, man. I mean, this is going to be another small fish. You know, when they're barely taking over these lighter tackle rods, you know it ain't a very big fish, but hell, it's another bite that we ain't getting on the heavier tackle. Oh, he's got that bait still in his mouth right there too. I wonder if we can get that back and maybe it'll be in good shape and we won't have to take time to cut another one. Hold on, you want to hear the rest of the story, I promise you do. I've got details. I've got details that the news don't have. Hold on, fish. Well, you get to keep that bait. Congratulations, you got a free meal on me. Enjoy lunch there, buddy. That fish don't know how good he's had. I don't buy lunch or breakfast for nobody except myself and fiance, and he just got a free meal out of me. That was another chunk. I'm gonna put another chunk on, although I do want to rotate back to a head bait on this too. Another chunk, I mean another head on the heavier tackle rod. Well, it's another bite, man. We're just slowly drifting down river here, 0.2, 0.3 miles an hour looks like. Still 43 feet deep. Here's the next chunk going down. All right, down it goes. So anyway, you know, he's got a regular job working for some newspaper, magazine type thing. Closed office, like, you know, the general public can't go in there, so they keep the doors locked. This dude, who's pissed off at him, breaks in to the office where he's working, goes and finds him in the office, throws gasoline all over him, then chases him out of the building. He's running, and you read the articles, he's running through the building saying, call 911, call for help to his coworkers. Dude gets him outside and lights him on fire after throwing gasoline all over him. Crazy. I mean, absolutely crazy. I mean, again, this guy's late 30s, early 40s. I mean, he's yeah, I mean, when I met him up there, I mean, real nice, likable guy. I enjoyed hanging out with him. But this dude was clearly mentally unstable, breaks into his workplace, and you talk about premeditated, man. Comes up with this plan, drives down to the workplace, breaks into the office, throws gasoline on him, then chases him out into the street and lights him on fire. I mean, that's some serious commitment. You know, a normal, rational person, even if they had a crazy thought like that, all it would be a crazy thought. Like at some point in time, before you go buy the gasoline and the matches, before you drive to the workplace, before you break in the door that's locked, before you walk back and douse somebody, and before you chase them out in the street, a normal, rational person is going to walk away from this situation, right? Not this dude. And so my first thought was, I'm reading these articles and I'm like, man, you know, this is some political nutcase. Hold on, this is a fish on the rod here. Another little love tap. But my first thought was, I'm like, man, he's probably raised taxes on somebody. You know, city council's probably voted to raise taxes and piss some people off. And because I mean, listen, if you're on city council, you want to piss people off, raise their taxes. I mean, I'm still pissed at my county commission for raising our property taxes last year. I'm still pissed about it and still ranting about it, and I'm not going to go set people on fire over it, but I'm pissed about it, right? So that was my first thought on this. Like, okay, he's been a part of some vote there on the city council, and some nutcase has taken it too far and went and personally attacked him. Well, the news articles specifically said, and all of them I read, and I watched some local news clips about it too, they'd all said that it was a personal matter, that it wasn't politically motivated, it was a personal matter. And I was like, what kind of personal matter? Because there's only a handful of things that's going to do this, right? Like, I mean, what kind of personal matter is going to elicit that kind of response from somebody, right? I mean, you don't have to, it's only a handful of things. So, again, I can't reach out to this girl directly because what kind of asshole would I be if 13 years later I just want to be nosy what happened to her husband, what the real story, the backstory was. So instead, I reach out to other people I knew up there. That's terrible, I know. And, you know, and get the backstory, which I don't know if I should tell the backstory. I probably shouldn't tell the backstory here. It's not my bit, you know, I'm gossiping just for me to reach out. It was none of my business anyway. But I was nosy, and, you know, somebody I knew, I wanted to know what happened. I wanted to know the real story. So I probably shouldn't tell you the backstory. But I'll just say, you don't have to dig very far into the weeds to figure it out. Why one dude might get mad at another dude. You know what I mean? Like, if one dude got involved with somebody who was already involved with somebody, and the original person that was involved with somebody got a little territorial and didn't like that another dude was getting involved in a situation. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I think you can put two and two together what was kind of going down. So, without getting too far into it. But yeah, but I mean, just the whole, what I was going with the whole situation with this, it was like, that's a pretty crazy thing that happens. Like, that's not something that you see or read about or hear about very often that somebody breaks into somebody's workplace, douses them with gasoline and sets them on fire. Like, you don't hear about that very often. But the fact that one, that it happened, and two, that it was somebody that I knew, it's like, you know, holy cow, if it can happen to him, it can happen to me. Now, I mean, I wouldn't be necessarily doing what he was involved in. I wouldn't necessarily happen over that situation. But like, I mean, people lose their minds over everything these days. I mean, the videos that we were exposed to that I was referencing there, I mean, that one poor girl she didn't do anything. She come in and sat down on a train. I mean, that's all. I mean, she was just wrong place, wrong time. She was, you know, I mean, just the worst possible situation for her. I mean, truly just bad luck situation. Just going about her day, gets on a train, has no idea what's about to happen to her. I mean, like, there's nothing you can do to prepare for that. Now, the other fella, I mean, he had a security team with him, but still, you can't prepare, you know, for that kind of thing. But I mean, at least, I mean, he had a security team. Like, he knew there was a danger to him and whatnot. He knew there was a lot of people that didn't like him, even though you can argue whether they should or they shouldn't. I mean, that's irrelevant. It's still, he knew there was a danger. Every time he went out in public, he knew there was a danger. Now, he may not have expected what was coming. I don't think anybody could have expected what was going to happen to him. Awful. But the other poor girl had no idea she was in any kind of danger. But these are people, like, when you see those videos, it's like, you see that poor girl on the train, and I'm like, you know, I don't know her. You know, I don't know, but you see her, she's on a train, it's a bigger city, you know. You think that kind of thing, well, it's confined to a bigger city. And then, you know, of course, you know, the other fella, I mean, he's well-known influencer, political person, political activist or whatever. It's like there's a level of celebrity there, in a sense, that you see that. I mean, again, you don't want to see it, but like, you know, the situation there, you're like, the level of following he had, the millions of people following him, like, statistically speaking, if you're that kind of level of celebrity, you're going to have some nut jobs that get fixated on you, right? Good and bad. Like, you're going to have people that like you too much and people that don't like you too much for reasons they shouldn't on either side, right? I mean, you see it all the time, right? I mean, you know, you see these actresses and singers and stuff, they get these stalkers, and it's people that just, they're in love with them, right? Like, they take it to, there's extremes. There's people that like you too much and that hate you too much. But again, you look at somebody like that and you're like, well, you know, it's a big time celebrity, millions of followers. Statistically speaking, like, there are going to be way greater risk than the average person for something like that to happen. But then, man, I look at this, you know, fella Lee up there in Danville, Virginia. Danville, Virginia is not very big, folks. Like, I've driven through it. It ain't a big town. And it's somebody I know, and, you know, just got himself in a bad situation and pissed the wrong person off. And now he's a story on the news. And it's never going to be the same. He'll never be the same. Fortunately, he lived. You know, and, you know, and you feel bad for my coworker and stuff, because, I mean, she's got 2 small kids with him. Now, they've been able to raise a lot of money through GoFundMe. And last I had looked, it was over $150,000. So, like, they've been able to raise some money to help cover the cost of expenses and hopefully, you know, lost wages and stuff like that. But I mean, he's never going to be the same. I mean, it's a wonder he lived. From reading, again, I sent a message to her, just, you know, condolences type message, just to say sorry what she was going through and whatnot. And always a phone call away type thing. But you know, I didn't want to pester her. But just reading through like the GoFundMe updates and stuff, like, I mean, he was on a ventilator for a while. I guess I guess he must have, probably the worst of the burns was probably the upper part of the body. And so he was on a ventilator for a while, and he's going to need multiple surgeries. He's going to be in the hospital for 6 months at least. Because, I mean, when you get burned like that, you're at a very high risk of getting some major infections and whatnot. And, of course, getting burned on the upper body, too, like the damage to the lungs is possible, which I'm sure is why he was on a ventilator. This rod right here is getting messed with again. Rod tip, I think that thing's standing up. Yeah, it was. Oh, and it just come free. That rod, he was coming up in the water column with that bait. It still looks good, still hooked good. Let's send it back down. We've had some bad lucks with the hookups today. I'm just probably small fish. That's what I'm gonna say, small fish, because it's the fish we've gotten. Even the one, I say the larger dink that we've got, that I held up front camera, like even we've had small fish today so far. But like, you know, just getting back to it, it's like you see stuff on social media and you're like, oh, okay, well that girl, she was in a bigger city, you know, she's on public transportation. You know, that when you think of like violent crimes, I mean, that's what you think of, right? You think of big cities, higher homeless and psychiatric populations and stuff. Like you think of that. And then when a political person or, you know, celebrity, somebody with a big following, when something happens to them, you think, well, you know, they got a lot of eyes on them, a lot of attention. You know, just again, statistically speaking, if you've got millions of followers and 1 or 2% of your followers are batshit crazy, it's still a good number when you've got that many millions of people following you. And if just one of them takes it too far, it's game over for you, man. But again, you look at it and you're like, well, that's not going to happen to me because they're a big time celebrity. But then when Lee gets attacked, you're like, man, holy shit, this can happen to anybody. It kind of brings it home, I guess. It kind of brings it home a little bit. And then I start thinking about, I mean, all the threats that I've gotten through the years of YouTube. I mean, I've had numerous people threaten me, what they're going to do to me when they see me out. People going to run me over when they see me on the water in the kayak. I've had one person threaten to burn down my house one time. Of course, I've had mail. I've told this story before. I've had mail show up to my house that hasn't gone through the Postal Service. Like people like physically come to my house and leave stuff in my mailbox. And when that's happened, it's been positive stuff, right? Like it's people that like me. But what if it wasn't? Because again, it takes one nut job. It takes one person to take it too far. Somebody that really does want to kill you. That's all it takes. So you just never know, man. You just never know. And circling back to the social media thing here, it's like every time you get on social media, you're just and I'm not a people person anyway, but every time I interact with people on social media, and I try not to, but every time I do, I think less of people. And I don't think that's just me. Like, I think it's across the board. Social media is dehumanizing human beings. I really think that. I think that it's creating not only a lot of division amongst opposing viewpoints, opposing political parties, whatever, any social topic, it creates a divisiveness. You either got to pick a side, you're one or the other. But I do think it kind of, with just the exposure to the violence and the things that people do, like it's dehumanizing. It's like you get to a point where people are doing these things and you just don't think about it the same way. Oh, our heavy rod got hit. I'll be damned. It's a head bait, something got after it. But you know what I'm trying, I mean, I hope I'm explaining the point like I'm trying to explain it in my mind, but it's like, I'll circle back to Columbine and Sandy Hook again. It's like those were traumatic times when they happened. But now when something goes down at a school, we don't blink an eye. It's barely a news story for a day, and then you're on to the next thing. We've been desensitized to it so much that we literally don't blink an eye at it anymore. And it's like, what's society like 5 or 10 years from now? I don't know, man. I don't know. But social media ain't going nowhere. And it's going to be, I mean, it's going to be fascinating. When you get 50 years removed from this, 100 years removed, look, we won't be around. At least I don't think we will be. I mean, AI takes over. Maybe they figure out a way we can live forever. I don't know. I doubt it. I don't have as much confidence in AI as what most people do. But I just, man, I don't know. 50 years from now, people start looking back at how society changed when social media come along. I don't think it's going to end up being a net positive, man. Like, there's a lot of positives to social media. I'm a prime example of something positive about it. I mean, I get to do what I love to do and get to earn a living off of it. Like, I'm reaping the rewards of social media here. But at the same time, too, it's like the net positive or net negative to society as a whole. Like, as an individual, I am personally benefiting. But as a society, are we benefiting? I don't think we are. But these companies, man, these social media companies, YouTube, of course, is owned by Google. Facebook, which is now, I guess, Meta, has Facebook and Instagram, and I think that WhatsApp, whatever. I don't use it, but I think they have that. But like, these are huge, huge companies with a lot of money and a lot of resources, and they ain't going nowhere, folks. They ain't going nowhere. And we're all, I say we're all, but I mean, I'm affected by it too. We're all addicted to these social media platforms. Like, there's a dopamine hit when we get on and we're scrolling through or we see something. Like, there is a dopamine hit. I mean, if you don't believe me, turn off your phone. Get away from social media. Delete social media for a weekend. You know, I need to do it again, but I did it for when I went on vacation. Me and my now fiance, we had went to Las Vegas. When was it? Not this past spring, but the spring before. We went out to Las Vegas, and I didn't get on social media the whole trip. And it was great. But I would catch myself reaching for my phone and have to be like, cognitively be like, oh, I'm taking some time off from social media here. Don't do it, Justin. Like, if I was in a situation like we're at the airport, we're in an Uber out there, we're waiting to be seated at a restaurant or something, my natural instinct, just pull out my phone and scroll, right? It's what we do. It becomes habit. And I had to, like, be cognitively aware of what I was doing when I'd just be not even thinking about it, reaching for my phone. Like, that's how ingrained social media is. I mean, most of us are addicted and don't even realize we are addicted. I mean, I don't even give a damn about what I see on social media these days. There's nothing. If I don't see people's fish pictures and wrestling and football reports, is my life going to change at all? No. I could totally do without it. But it's the physical action of taking out your phone, seeing the screen, everything light up, like there's a dopamine hit to that, and it becomes an addiction. Whether you realize it or not, most of us are addicted to our phones and social media. And I think it's a big problem going forward. Big problem. I don't know how you fix it. I don't know how you fix it. I don't know what the long-term ramifications are. But it's a problem, man. It's I don't know. I don't have a great deal of hope for the future. I don't have any kids, and I'm glad I don't, because I mean, I think it's human nature. You want better for, even me not having kids, if I did, I would want them to have a better world than what I have. And I have life now, despite what you hear, I'm gonna change out our baits. Despite what social media would have you believe, life is pretty good for all of us. I mean, sure, individual, you may be going through something right now, you personally. But society as a whole, we've got it pretty good. I mean, you think about, you go back in time 200 years. If you were injured 200 years ago, you were just going to deal with it. You know, if you broke your ankle 200 years ago, you was just going to be maimed. That's the way it's going to be. Now, you can be the poorest of the poor, man. You can be homeless. And if you have an injury, you can go to any ER. Regardless of your financial situation, they're going to take care of you. May not be the greatest care. You may not get the follow-up care you need. But in your emergency situation, you can get medical treatment. And medicine, food, despite what you might think about these people, welfare and government assistance programs, whether or not you think they should get it or not, I mean, that's irrelevant. They're getting it. Like, people get welfare, food stamps, all that. That wasn't something they would have gotten 200 years ago. They would have just starved. They would have just been homeless. So nowadays, that bait was gone. So nowadays, and we're switching out too, we're putting the head on this one for a while and the chunk on the bigger rod for a minute. But the bottom line is, actually, I want to put that this way. People as a whole are better off now. We have more resources, better conditions. I mean, kings and queens living in castles 200 years ago didn't have electricity. They didn't have a thermostat, central heat and air. They probably eat good. I mean, kings and queens 200 years ago, they probably ate pretty damn well. But if they had a cavity in their tooth, somebody had probably just yanked that thing out with a pair of pliers, because there wasn't no dentist back in the day. If they got a cut on their leg, there was no antibiotics. Oh, what got hit? I was looking the other way. Did something get hit? Did I imagine that? Maybe I imagined it. But yeah, if you got a cut on your leg 200 years ago, well, you better just hope that it didn't get infected, because if it did, you might end up getting gangrene, losing your leg. Because, now we've got, man, you got antibiotics, you You get a bad cut, you just go get stitched up and get some antibiotics prophylactically, and you're good. You didn't have that back in the day. So, I mean, as society as a whole, like, we're way better off now than what we've ever been at any point in history. But yet, nobody realizes how good we have it. Everybody's so, I guess people have got it so good oftentimes that all they can do is just focus on this little piddly stuff that usually don't matter. They want to argue what bathrooms people are supposed to go in instead of over like actual important topics. Because, I mean, back in the day, you was in survival mode, right? Like you had to go out, build your own shelter, hunt your own food, grow a garden, can and preserve everything you could to get ready for winter. Like, people had it rough back in the day, and you didn't have time to worry about who's going in what bathroom because you were trying to survive. Now, the survival part has been taken out of, for the most part. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some places in the world that's bad situations going on, but I'll just speak for, like, you know, Americans here. If you're somebody that's well off enough that you're seeing this video, you've got a cell phone, a computer, you know, some TV, something with internet service that you're able to watch and listen to this video right now, you've got it made, man, compared to what you would have 200 years ago. Like, you don't have to survive anymore. You might be, you know, trying to survive, like working a job you hate to, as that rod gets hit. You might be working a job you hate. You think he might be hooked up. I don't think we want him hooked up, but I think he might be. He is. It's on the midsection, on the heavy rod. Oh boy, he's one that shouldn't have got hooked. Oh, he's just flesh hooked too. We're going to do a quick release on this one. He's barely hooked in the skin. Just like that, he gone. Well, go on. There he went. I didn't think he was gonna. Oh, he still don't want to go down. I may have to go get hold of that one and see if I can shove him back down there. And yeah, he's having a hard time. Well, there you go. I say that now. He's trying. Let's get another bait on, and if I see him pop back up over here, we'll go get him. And I may have brought him up too fast on the heavy tackle. I may have to go get him and try to. Sometimes if you can shove them down in the water, like kind of torpedo them down, you'll get them down far enough that they'll be able to go back down without having to try to burp them. Let me get this on there. We'll take a. He must have got back down because I don't see him out there. Got to be careful. We're only 41 feet deep, but we brought him up, I guess, a little too fast. But yeah, man, we've got it made as society right now. We just can't get out of our own way. We can't stop fighting with each other to just enjoy what we have. And I'm as guilty as anybody, man. I get fired up about stuff that don't matter in the grand scheme of life too. But I don't know, you know, again, I don't know the solution to it, because it's not like you can have something, a reference point where times were hard and then they got better, and you can, you know, kind of appreciate how far you've come and what you've got. A lot of these people, myself included, I mean, we've grown up in this generation where we just have everything. So, you know, it's hard to tell people how good they've got it when they've never had it bad. We keep on the path we're on, we're all going to have it bad. we're either going to have so much government control that the government runs our lives completely, and Lord knows they tax us like they do already, or we're going to have this complete societal breakdown, and things are really going to get bad. And I don't know. We're headed toward one of those two extremes, and I don't know which. Maybe a combination of both before it's said and done. But the main thing, though, with all this is, and we've had some doom and gloom conversation today, folks. But the main thing is, the real takeaway is that life is short. You never know when it's going to end. And if you like doing something, go do the hell out of it. If you like catching catfish in a kayak, man, you spend every second you possibly can trying to catch catfish in a kayak, because your opportunity to do so can be over in the blink of an eye. So, a car wreck, a surprise health diagnosis, a nut job, you never know when it's going to end. So do what you love and what you want as much as you possibly can. Your family, friends, don't take them for granted, because ain't none of us making it out of this thing alive. No matter how it happens, when it happens, none of us are making it out. And when you get right down to it, what really matters most, it ain't what we spend most of our time and our days thinking and dwelling on. That ain't really what matters when you get right down to it. So, do what you love, man. Do it as much as you possibly can. And hope for the best. Hope for the best, y'all. But yeah, crazy stuff, buddy. Crazy stuff. You never know what's coming. I wish a big fish was coming. That's what I wish. We've been kind of dinked. My last catfish trip was a dink fest too. It was a lot of small fish. Now, I was using 2 light tackle rods that day. And I'm wondering, today, if we had a second light tackle rod, would that make a difference? We haven't really. What we got now? Two fish on the heavy tackle. I don't know how many fish on the light tackle. Not very many. All things that we've had enough bites to have had a solid day. We just can't keep them hooked up. I wonder though, I would like to. Let me do that. I'm gonna put on the other, because here's the other thing I'm wondering now. I got a different hook. That was the shiner hook we've got on the other light tackle rod. This is the mosquito hook. I wanna put it down there a little while. Let's reel in the heavy tackle rod for a little while. Well, for the rest of the trip. And put out another light tackle rod. We'll see if we get more bites, and we'll see how that other hook does. I'm just going to use the same bait that we just put on, like it's still got the innards there and everything. I just want to see how this hook will do compared to the other hook we've been using that we keep missing fish on. If we keep missing fish with this hook as well, then you can just blame the fish, I guess. But if one hook starts outperforming the other, then maybe we'll know. I'm still trying to figure out what hooks are best for this style of fishing and all. Like, it's still, I don't have a clear-cut answer yet. We'll eventually figure it out, but ain't there yet. Let's put the heavy tackle rod up. if we do get a big fish down through here, I'd like for it to be on the light tackle anyway, just from a fun perspective. We've really, I mean, for the time we've been out here, we've not covered a great deal of water. I mean, I started up there near the top of this island. So we've not covered a great deal of water. Now, you know, we can't really cover a lot moving at point two. I could have been propelling us down through here pedaling, but I kind of wanted to just take a lazy day, man. Just go for a drift. Now, the wind was blowing a little more when I first got out here. I just want to check that bait too. I'll send it back down. The wind was blowing a little more when we first got out here. Now it's not blowing at all. So we're just going with the current, and we're so far downriver from the dam, like there's barely any water flow. But there is a little bit of movement, so I'm just using it. Just letting it take us, and you know, whatever happens, happens down through here. We'll either catch fish or we won't. Well, we were catching some. But this is, you know, going back to it again, circling back to this, like this is a real fishing trip, man. We got out, we got our bait today. We come out here, we start working this ledge, and it's like, on these ledges, I don't know where fish are going to be. I kind of have an idea of how they're going to move. I mean, as far as following the contours and stuff, like you can kind of focus on them places, the paths they're going to take. Not all of them will, but a big portion of them will follow those edges. And so if you move along those edges and you do it long enough, you will oftentimes run into some fish. And I don't know when or where down through here, because I mean, if they're just working up and down the ledge, they could be anywhere. Now, as we come across some creeks that feed in, sometimes fish will just kind of stage up and hold out there in front of those creek mouths and stuff. Those are good places to anchor, for instance. But when we're just out drifting, trolling, whatever the situation may be, like they could be anywhere up and down through here. So it's kind of just a matter of logging hours, really. Now, today is going to be a shorter trip, but, you know, if you worked your way down through here half a mile an hour for 10 hours, that's 5 miles of ledge you're going to cover today. You're going to catch some fish. And at some point down through here, you're going to run into some fish. You're going to run into some big fish. Now, I don't like fishing that long. At my age, I don't like sitting in a kayak for that long a period of time. Hell, we have these tournaments and stuff. They're 8 hours. I don't like sitting in a kayak for 8 hours, even for a tournament, let alone just a little fun fishing trip. I like to, well, you know me. If it's warm, I like to get out at dawn and fish till about lunch. In the wintertime, I'll fish from about lunch till it gets dark. That's my ideal times. Lately, I've been kind of mixing it up a little bit. We've had some, this morning was fine. It's about 60 this morning, but, oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, he come off too. Are you kidding me? We just cannot keep anything hooked. Oh, I may be the worst fisherman of all time, folks. Like, how do you can't even catch small fish today. Oh, look over here. Look over here. That one's swimming off. Let me get this one reset. The line's way out there to the left. Let's see if he's on there. Okay, he's on there. Maybe this one will stay hooked up. This was on the mosquito hook right here. He had swim way up that way. I think we're actually going to get to look at this one. I don't know if we want to, but well, he might be comparable to that biggest one of the day. He's a larger dink at least. I may actually land him with the net too, just to keep from risking breaking that line, grabbing hold of it. If we get him calmed down enough to do it. I don't know why y'all won't net these fish for me. Come here, fish. Come on in here. Tell us how good you've got it down there, fish. You got a smorgasbord of shad anytime you want it, and now you've got people like me dropping pieces of shad down to you. He got hooked a little deeper, but he's okay. I just got to get the pliers to get it out. Open up, fish. There you go. Let me set that back there a second. Yeah, he's a larger dink right there. We had two of them, though. Two of them hit at the same time, didn't we? And there's actually some more. Look right there on the screen, you can see some more fish. Two of them hit at the same time. We had one come off and landed the other. That one was a body section, so let's do another body section. Actually, you know what? That other one's been hit enough. I probably need to just go ahead and switch out that head on the other one. Might as well. Closing the cooler. There we go. All right. Yeah. This is a real fishing trip today, folks. Man, you're seeing it from bait to getting out here struggling a little bit to find anything of quality. We're getting some bites. I mean, we're getting bites pretty regularly, just not getting anything, nothing to write home about. And can't keep even the smaller ones, we can't seem to stay buttoned up. Here comes the wind again. I'm gonna keep myself off this ledge here as we get everything reset. Yeah, let's go ahead and switch this out. And I think too, when I do this one, I'm gonna go back to hooking it under the gill plates and out. And that bait's actually still in good shape, but let's go ahead and switch it out anyway since I got this one cut. I'm gonna go back here to just under the gill plates, out a nostril again. Try it like that again. There comes a bass boat, man, 80 miles an hour. I bet you we've caught more fish than he has. I don't know how many we've caught thus far, but not as many as I'd have liked to have. I like to catch a lot of fish, and I like to catch big fish. I want it all, man. I want it all. I'm hard to please. It's turned into a nice day. This time of year is good. You get morning temps. Last week we were having some temps in the 50s in the mornings, but now today and this week's looking like 60s in the mornings, around 60. Afternoon temps, high 70s, low 80s, like it's perfect. So I've been doing some mixing it up lately. I've done some afternoon trips and whatnot, but my preference is to get out first thing in the morning at dawn and be catfishing. I like having my bait before I go out to catfish. Days like today, where I got to get the bait and then go out, it cuts into your time. You know, you lose a bit of if you do have a morning bite going on right there at first light, you kind of miss out on that because you're getting bait, right? I mean, I guess if you're able to get bait wherever, and I could have come here and caught some bait. But I knew the other creek has been stacked with shad lately, some larger shad too. And I knew it was a sure thing that I could access quickly. Now, it did take a little longer today than what I had hoped, but it was the sure thing versus trying to get bait here where I launched to come catfish. It's like, well, if you don't get anything, or if it takes a really long time, then what do you do? But I like showing up already having bait. That way you're ready to start catfishing right there as soon as you get on the water. And if there is a morning bite going on, sometimes it won't last. Now, I have found that if there is a morning bite going on and you've got some foggy conditions like we did today, then sometimes that bite will either last a little longer or it'll start a little later, because it won't be the same level of light that you would normally have when the sun first starts coming up due to the fog. But, I mean, out here today, I mean, we've seen all the way down through here, the distance that we've covered, we've seen bait, we've seen fish that I assume are cats, and we've gotten several bites. So we know they're here. We've just lacked quality, and we've lacked hookups, solid hookups. And I don't know why that is. I mean, it could be a situation, small fish, they grab the bait and don't get the bait in the hook. It could be an issue with the hooks. Yeah, I'm using the lighter wire, thinner wire hooks because of the rods, the extra give in those rods. Like, it's harder to get a hook to penetrate when you've got so much give in the rod tip and give in the kayak when I go to lean. So I want a thinner wire hook because of that. But I don't know if it's truly a situation that the hook style or just the way the fish are hitting it, or I don't know. I honestly don't have a clue. I've had good days and bad with it. I mean, every one of these styles of hooks that I've tried, I've had good days and bad with them. So I don't know. And I've also had a bunch of days too where I'd be out with the heavy gear and the 10-aught size hooks and catch a bunch of small fish. So, I mean, like, I've caught a bunch of small fish on 10-aught size hooks through the years. So you would think, just by downsizing the hook, and especially when you downsize the size of the bait and the hook, that you would be almost guaranteed to have better hookup ratios. Especially on them fish that would normally come up to your bigger baits and bigger hooks and just take a bite but not be able to get it. But that ain't really been the case in my experience since I started doing this light tackle more. I was like, I'm still missing. I'm still getting a lot of bites that I just miss. I guess just bad fishermen, I guess. But the circle hooks, the smaller, thinner wire circle hooks, have definitely done a far worse job, I feel like, than the other styles of hooks that I've used. So I don't have a great desire to go back to using those again. But I don't know what style of hook I'm ultimately, and I may figure out at some point, and this is just one of them things that's going to take time and experience on the water. We'll figure it out over time. But we may eventually determine that maybe one style of hook is better for live baits and one for cut bait. Or one style of hook might be better for maybe thinner baits like the shad we're using today. I mean, they're very thin. And maybe another style of hook might be better for a thicker piece of meat. So, that's one of those things, again, it just takes time. It takes time and experience on the water to get out there and just put put two different hooks side by side, put two different rod and reel combos side by side, and see how it goes. Now, I do think when I do the lighter tackle dragging setups that I talked about earlier today, I do think I'm probably going to do those experiments in my kayak with the motor. Because one of the things about the light tackle stuff, you can't horse a fish. When you got 15-pound line and you've got a fish on that's beyond 15 pounds, or even one that's smaller but fighting hard, and you got to worry about the abrasion your line is getting, you can't horse them. You just got to take your time. And so therefore it's harder to get control of fish. And they kind of go where they want, and you're more inclined to get line tangles, as we got one hitting this bait here. But you're more inclined to get line tangles with the lighter tackle. And when you're dragging, if you're in a kayak that's got a bow mount motor and you've got the heading direction on, like, the motor's going to compensate for the fish pulling you, right? It's going to keep you moving forward at whatever speed you've set it at. But if you are in a pedal kayak, and especially if I'm in like my Hobie Lynx, which is more paddleboard, you're going to get spun. Like whichever, say you got two rods out and this rod starts going back to the left, like you're going to get pulled back to the left. Like you're going to go where the fish goes. Meanwhile, your other rod over here, it's back there behind you if you're dragging. Now, like when we're doing today with spin fishing, it's not a big deal. If we get pulled all over creation here on this rod, this one over here is still just off bottom. It's vertical right under us. But when we're dragging and we've got lines out 30, 50 yards behind us, let's say, you're going to get spun around and circles all around your line. It's a mess. So I definitely, and I've dragged baits in pedal kayaks before with two rods, and I mean, I've done it. But, oh, big paddlefish. Did you see that? I hope that got on camera. I saw that. I was looking perfectly that way when he jumped up. That was a paddlefish. I saw him. Scroll back a few seconds on the video right there, folks. You'll see it. If my camera mount wasn't in the way. But that was a paddlefish. Just jumped up right there. That was awesome. When I've dragged baits with pedal kayaks in the past, I've had the heavier gear. So like I can crank down on them a little bit, try to get control of them. With the lighter stuff, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I'm truly going to be at its mercy. And the only way I feel like to do that without a bunch of tangles in a pedal kayak is just have to go down to one rod, which I'd actually done that. Fun fact, I'd done that earlier in the summer with the Lynx. I'd done some trips where I was dragging and just using one rod. And I had some success doing it, but it's nice. It is nice having two rods out, because then you can either, if you got two different types of baits, you can mix that up. You can do a head and a chunk like we're doing today. You could do a big bait, small bait. Like it just, having a second rod, it really gives you, I mean, it does give you, I mean, yes, it gives you another option, but like it just, at least psychologically anyway, it makes me feel better having two rods. Now, going beyond two rods, yeah. I mean, my Hobie with the motor, I can technically fish 4 pretty easily. But do I need 4? No. I mean, it's fun when all 4 rods goes down. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun. If you drift through a school and every rod goes down at once, it's great. But as far as presenting something different to the fish, I mean, I don't think it really makes a lot of difference unless you've got a live bait option. Because, I mean, I think that would be, that's kind of the best case scenario for I can't get my words out all of a sudden. Suspend fishing, if I can talk, is when you're suspending baits, you would have a head bait, a body section, and a live bait at all times. So a third rod, if you had a live bait, would be ideal, but in this kayak here, I've only got the 2 rod holders up front. I don't have a good way. I'm in my Old Town big water kayak today, but like up here on the front, I can access this area, so I was able to bolt on those bases for the rod holders. But back here behind me, I have access. There's a hatch right here that I can get up in here, but I don't have a good place to do it. Like this part here is curved and wouldn't be good. You got your rod holder here, so there's a big hole cut out. And then your gear tracks are back here, which I don't like the gear track holders. They'd be okay for the light tackle stuff. But even if we put in a rod holder here, your rod butt's going to encroach on the cooler. You see what I mean? Like no matter how we would position the rod holder, the butt of the rod end is gonna be pushing against it. So, you know, this kayak here, it's better to just fish with the 2 rods. My Hobie Lynx, of course, it only has the gear tracks up front there that we can put. I mean, it's only 2 options for it too, basically. So my Hobie Pro, it's just a bigger kayak, more options for secure rod holders and stuff. But, you know, I used to be, when I first got started kayak fishing, I was using 2 rods because that's what I could do comfortably. And then as I got better, or just more comfortable, I guess, being in a kayak and stuff, I started trying to kind of push the boundaries, push the limits. How many rods could I fish with? And there were times, man, I was suspend drifting like we're doing today with 6 rods. I'd literally go out with 6 rods, and you talk about getting some tangles. Like I had some tangles, folks. So then you go from a minimalist standpoint to as many rods as you possibly can. Then you start coming back, and I kind of settled on 4 rods for the longest time. And then 2019, I did my year-long anchor fishing experiment. And one backside of my kayak, I would have to have the anchor rope going down. So I went down to 3 rods, 2 on the front and 1 on the opposite side of the anchor on the back. And that was probably my best year of fishing I've ever had, as far as big fish and all that. I mean, I had a great year in 2019. Got all them videos there on my channel for those of you that are new and maybe want to go back if you're bored or something. But, you know, that was a kind of an eye-opening thing to me. Like I went from 4 to 3, which I know it's only 1 rod less, but I mean, from a percentage-wise, like, you know, you're 25% less rods. And then, of course, you know, the last couple years, I mostly fish with 2 rods now, unless I'm in a tournament or something. So, and I still catch a good number of fish. I mean, today we're struggling a little bit to get anything of quality, or struggling to keep the bites we have got on hooked up. But I mean, like, still, I catch a good number of fish with just 2 rods. Really, the only scenario where the not having the extra rods gets us is those days where we do have a big school of fish move through. When you have, like here a little while ago when we had both those rods get hit at the same time, it's very well possible if we'd had 4 rods out that 4 rods would have got hit at the same time, because we just went through a school of fish. And that's really the only time it really affects you, because like if you drift through a school with 2 rods and you get both rods hooked up on, well, by the time you get those fish landed, it's possible that the school has moved on, or maybe the other fish got a little spooked because you were reeling in their friends who were thrashing around and acting a fool. Whereas if you had 4 rods out, or 6 or 8, or however many you got space for on your particular kayak or boat or whatever, and they all kind of go after your baits at once, they all get to your baits at the same time, well, hell, you may hook up with all of them at the same time. And so that'll cost you some fish, but for the most part, I don't think it really affects my overall catch rates all that much, because, I mean, most times you're not hooking up 4 fish. Even when you got 4 rods, you're not hooking up with 4 at a time. There are sometimes you do, but most of the time you're not. You'll still have 1 rod at a time, or maybe 2 at a time get hit, even though you've got more rods than that out. I can't talk today, folks. I'm struggling. I don't know what's up with me. It's probably my blood sugar low. I need to go get some lunch. That's what I need to do. I don't know what I'm gonna get today. I had cheeseburger for lunch yesterday. I don't really want that again today. I'm tired of chicken, and I think the fiance is cooking chicken and rice tonight. I don't know what I'm gonna get. I'm ready to eat though. I'm hungry. See, that's another perk of living in society today versus 200 years ago. 200 years ago, if we wanted something to eat, we'd have had to go out and hunt it. But today, all I gotta do is just swing through a drive-through somewhere, and somebody else will prepare a meal for me. And I ain't even gotta have money to pay for it. You just swipe a piece of plastic, your credit card. I mean, it's a crazy world we live in today, when you really think about it. Crazy world. It's like, I wonder if time travel was real, and who knows if it is or not. But like, if you could bring people from the past to present day and let them see what the world is today compared to how they've known it, man, can you imagine? Can you imagine the reactions? Who knows, man? Who knows? They'd probably just be in shock. It'd be like them, well, I mean, there's still some instances of that today. I mean, there's some uncontacted tribes down in the Amazon rainforest and stuff that really, they're living a primitive lifestyle. They have no electricity, internet, no outside contact with the world. Like, they're living a primitive, I mean, like we would have been, in theory, living a long time ago, our people, our ancestors and stuff. So imagine if you could get one of those people and bring them and put them down in a big city somewhere and just let them look around. Like, what would they think? Who knows, man? Personally, I mean, yeah, I think it would be cool to go back in time and have a look around. That's probably what if you gave me the choice, if I could go in the future or I could go in the past, I'd probably go in the past, actually. I mean, I would be curious to know about the future, like, how long did I live and stuff. Like, if you put me 200 years in the future, I would go to the obituaries and find out when I met my demise. But like, just from a curiosity standpoint, I'd be way more curious to see how people lived in the past. See what it was really like. Yeah, we watch movies and stuff, Westerns and all that, but like, to actually see it in real time. Now, it probably wouldn't go well. We'd probably get smallpox or something. You know, we'd be exposed to some disease that's been eradicated that we got no immunity to, and you'd catch it going back in the past or something. But it would be cool just to go look, have a look around, and see what life was like. Can you imagine though, like how bad people must have stunk back in the day? Because I mean, heat and humidity, like, oh, there was another paddlefish. I was looking that way when he come up. I don't think the camera was at the right angle to see it though. Like heat and humidity was real things back hundreds of years ago, just like it is today. But today we've got deodorant, we have running water, people take baths. Some people don't take a bath as often as they should, but you know what I mean, like overall hygiene is much better overall today than what it could have been in the past, because in the past you didn't have deodorant. It wasn't easy to go take a bath. Most people went down to the creek or the river to bathe. Like, you know, I can't imagine just walking through town. You go to the local saloon or maybe a restaurant or general store or something, whatever they had, and you walk in there and there's a bunch of people in there. You imagine how bad it must have stunk? People just sweating, stewing in their own juices all the time. No toilet paper, no deodorant, which I still don't understand toilet paper today. It's 2025. I have a bidet at my house. I love it. Why are people still using toilet paper in 2025 is another one of those cultural things that you just can't explain. It's like people today use toilet paper because they grew up using toilet paper and that's just the way it is. But nobody questions that maybe there's a better way, and there is. It's called a bidet. They're very cheap. It hooks right onto your toilet and pressure washes your stink hole until it's clean. Way better than toilet paper. I mean, if you had crap on your hands, you wouldn't take toilet paper and wipe it off and consider your hands to be clean. But yet that's what we do with our buttholes. Makes no sense. Makes no sense to me. Culture, man. It's a cultural thing. Oh, Lord, folks. You know what I think I'm going to do? Here's what I need to do. I need to film a video for my channel members. I think it's been about a week. I do videos for my channel members, separate from the main general audience stuff. So I need to do one for them. And I want to go get some lunch. So I think we're going to call it quits on this video. Boy, I've got water spots on this lens. I hope it's not been affecting things. Boy, today's trip though, man, today was a real catfishing trip for sure, y'all. We did catch some fish. We got some bites. We got some bait. But boy, we struggled on getting bait first thing. Didn't get a lot of it, which we ended up having enough, more than enough. But then come out here and struggle on the cats. We've got some. We got, I don't know how many we ended up with now, but we ended up with a few fish out here for no longer than we've been catfishing, and a lot of bites for no longer than we've been catfishing. But overall, today was a struggle. Today's been a struggle. This section of the ledge just hasn't worked out while we've been out here, at least not for quality anyway. So, like I said earlier, though, if we were fishing 10 hours and we were going another few miles down through here, maybe we run into something better. But I like these short trips, man. 3, 4, 5 hours long. Come out, get your fishing done, go home, eat some lunch, work around the house, get the video crap done. That's how I like to do things. I'm not a marathoner. Definitely not a marathoner in a kayak seat anymore. But nevertheless, y'all, thanks for coming with me today. I'm going to wrap this up, do the channel members video, and then go get a bite to eat. I'll see you on the next trip. Thanks again for coming with me today.